Howdy, floorheads. Howdy, friends. Welcome to something that I'm really interested to see what it's like. So to give you a little bit of background, I think it was last week or the week before last, I had an opportunity to interview the creator of a game called The Zone. And Raph and I talked for a good bit. And you'll have to listen to the episode when it comes out. It'll probably come out here late summer, early fall. But the idea is probably best described as a GM-less storytelling game. So I want you to imagine Fiasco had a kid and then let that kid watch Reanimator when he was about 5 years old. And I think if I understand what Raph was saying, that's pretty much what this game, The Zone, is. Now, in full disclosure, myself, Cody, Jim, and Doug, we have not played this before. We have not looked at this before. So this is a little bit of an interesting test to see whether you can just jump in. Because one of the things that Raph said to me is that you can just jump in and start playing. So, gentlemen, are we ready to start playing?
Let's jump in.
All right. So we've got ourselves all signed in. And just so you know, we're now playing the online version. I believe that he'll be kickstarting the print version here soonish, from my understanding. So here, we've got ourselves signed into the free site. In the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you can see how you can join that as well. I'm going to go ahead and start the game.
Operation Gray Rhino is go.
All right. So let me just quickly, the screen's slightly cut off here. Let me get... There we go. All right, I'm going to read this off. Welcome, players. The goal of this game is to tell a weird, magical, realist horror story of mutilation and self-discovery. You've got the next one, Cody.
All right. The goal of this game...
Oh, I already read that.
is a story about people who risk everything for an obsession.
Jim?
A story.
Or Doug?
Oh, I thought red. It's red for me, so I think that means
You're good, man.
A story where only one will make it to the end.
All right, so from now on, Cody's yellow, you're red, Doug, and then we'll see what Jim is. All right, so the game's going to take 2 to 3 hours for this to make its point. Make sure that's okay with everybody. Unless you all know each other, quickly introduce yourselves. That's done. You're probably wondering if everyone is seeing the same thing. You are. This is a live multiplayer space, unless stated otherwise. Moves affected everyone's view. So, incidentally, you guys can see watching how the little green dots, that's our mice. So all 4 of our mice in there. And it's kind of neat. Raph talked about how that kind of represents us, you know, in this screwy world he created. All right, let's go next to the briefing. Welcome, volunteers. I know you all been wondering what the Zone really is and if the rumors are true. As the 14th expedition, you deserve to know what we know. It's not a lot, but it may help you. It started with the anomalies. Locals calling in to talk radio or visiting their doctors with stories of unseasonal weather, impossible objects, half sightings of unknown creatures, claimed conversations with long-dead loved ones. People disappeared. Medical notes describe bodies that started changing. We initiated special containment procedures, performed tests on those who refused to evacuate. Then, as if reacting to our attention, the boundary appeared and isolated everything and everyone within an area of several square miles. We don't know if they're still survivors or if they're still human. Since that moment, not a single expedition has returned. Oh, that's promising. all lose contact minutes after leaving visual range. We're going on fragments, rumors, and occasional anomalies that seep beyond the boundary. We don't know what the Zone wants or if it wants. It seems to be a mirror. It manifests whether whatever phobias, obsessions, and memories you bring into it. The Zone brings them to life to test you. There are rumors that the Zone can grant your deepest wish if it deems you worthy. Sensor readings show something incredibly powerful at its heart. Perhaps the only escape is the center itself. You are the 14th expedition. You will almost certainly not return. Good hunting,
Gee,
but
thanks.
prepare to die. The Federal Bureau of Coherence, without admitting liability, thanks you for accepting this mission. All right, end mission briefing. That's phenomenal.
Getting off to a positive start right there.
All right. This is a collaborative storytelling game. I'll read 1, Cody 2, Jim 3. We're telling a movie. The game is a series of scenes which we can choose to play in as much or as little detail as we want, describing or acting out what characters are doing. Scenes can be as short as a couple minutes, but usually 5 minutes or so. The game will last about as long as a movie.
So we will take turns being the director. There is no GM. We will, again, take turns as the director, setting up and ending scenes, and share a few key moments that anyone can trigger at any time to help the story along. No one will be forced to take or to be on the spot for too long, but we are all in charge of our characters, and we share responsibility for everything else.
We will play to lose. We are not competing with each other. That's why our fates are secretly decided at the start, so we can focus on creating not so easy situations, which characters will always take the bait on and suffer the consequences. You know those moments that have you yelling, "Don't go in there," or "Don't touch that" at your favorite horror film? That's this entire game.
That's amazing.
We're all gonna die.
Ooh, look at this. This is the board space. It's a shared space. Unless explicitly stated otherwise, you can all see roughly the same things on our screens. If there's something only you can see, it will say, only you are seeing this. Well, that's handy. We got ourselves down there at the bottom, I can see. There's not so easy. All right, it's going to walk us through this. So let's take a look here. Jim, you want to take this?
Sure. This spiral of cards represents the zone. Each card is a location the expedition will go through on their one-way journey to the center of the zone. The game starts at the zone observation facility, which is right outside the boundary. Once inside, you cannot backtrack.
All right. Doug?
In each location, we will do a few scenes. Expect to do 2 or 3 scenes in each location, fewer as we get closer to the center. 1 turn equals 1 scene.
So that means we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 scenes. Okay. Got this, Cody?
Yep. There are no stats or dice rolls in this game. Whenever a character tries to do something that seems like it would be not so easy for them, anyone can force them to pull a not so easy card. Not so easy cards have a bittersweet outcome that advances the story, like yes, but, and no, and most of them will trigger a mutation. Trigger them often.
Awesome. All right.
I want tentacles.
Our fates are predetermined by fate cards. The character on the fate card must die in the scene when it is revealed, unless another player sacrifices their own character. You cannot die before your fate card, so take risks. When your character dies, you keep playing as the zone, setting up scenes as usual with nothing to distract you from making things weird, magical, and horrible for survivors. Doug?
The game ends at the center. The player who makes it to the center will ask the zone to grant or free them from their obsession. The remaining players play the zone, who judge the survivor and determines their final fate.
Nice. All right, a quick level set. The Zone is a horror game, so it's most fun when we push out of our comfort zone. There are a few tools and principles to help take care of each other. These are for everyone to use. The X card. If something comes up in the story we'd rather not, we rather it didn't, we'll press the X card button, find it and press it now. There it is in the upper right. All right, let's pause. Okay, good. And rewind to find another way. No questions asked. We can even X card ourselves. Atmospheric silence. There will times a player. There will be times. They need to fix that typo. A player is pondering a question and and helping them feel so irresistible. We won't give in. Sometimes folks just need a little time to think, and the creepiest horrors need their time to gestate. Hell yeah or no. We each have ironclad authority over our characters, and when setting scenes up as director, it's still fun to suggest ideas, yes, and a lot, but no pressure. If it's not an obvious hell yeah, no need to push it. The players are more important than the game. Take care of real humans first. My friends, let's be excellent to each other. All right, so here, what rating should our movie have? I think we know.
I think we made a decision.
We're all trying to click R. Okay, good.
Demonetize.
Goodbye, sponsor. All right, let's choose characters. Each character will have an obsession, a phobia, and a reason they cannot go back to their old life. All these characters share one thing. They know the zone will almost certainly kill them. And believe me, it's worth it to fulfill their obsession. No, Nick Westbrook, just rated R. You can watch your videos on your own time. All right, choose your character. All right, Doug, you pick first.
All right, so soldier, writer, chaplain, surgeon, scientist, entrepreneur, bureaucrat.
I should make you take the second to last one because you don't know how to pronounce it.
I said entrepreneur.
Sure, that's exactly how you pronounce it. Well done.
No, I'm
All
definitely not taking that one.
All right, well then, you know what? I'm going to go with, I'm going with the scientist.
I like it. All right, so did you click pick me?
Yeah, did I click pick me? I think I clicked pick me. All right. So, do I read this out
No,
loud
not
then?
yet. No, the rest of us
Okay,
have
cool.
to pick. So, Jim, what are you going to take?
I think I'm going to take the chaplain and
Nice.
attempt to protect everyone's humanity.
How about you, Cody?
I think I'll do the writer. That's cool with you.
Yep. So I've got a writer, a chaplain, and a scientist. I'm going to take the soldier.
All right.
All right. Well, now we're going to be able to choose the name. So I'm going to name mine. Okay. All right. So now I get to pick my obsession. Okay, and then my phobia. Let's see. All right, I've got mine picked. All right, this probably was a one-way trip, but you're going anyway because you cannot go back to. No, let's see. I'm smuggling. All right. Waiting for Doug and Cody.
All right.
Love how whatever Nick comment said after the NC-17 thing, my moderation chat wouldn't let him say it. Start out.
All right, I think I clicked it.
Just waiting on Cody. Take your
All
time,
right,
buddy.
let me just-
Robert Douglas, Domingo Moskowitz, Chet Ironfoot.
All right. Chet Ironfoot. That's a good one.
You like that one? Auric Fowler.
Yes,
That's a foul
British
name.
guy.
Are we ready?
Not British, but yeah, I'm good.
Ready? I don't know if I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right. Meet your characters. Go one by one and introduce your characters to each other. All right. So I will start there with Chet Ironfoot, soldier. Fought in Afghanistan. I fought in Iraq. I fought in 3 other countries that I'm not allowed to tell you about. And in the process, came across some interesting books, a few stone tablets that somehow made it back into my pack, somehow made it to the UK, and somehow made it to the United States. And so there's people looking after me. So I figured it would be a good time to volunteer to see if I can help figure out this zone. So that's Chet Ironfoot.
Nice to meet you, Chet.
Am I next? I might be. Domingo Moskowitz. I also served in the military as an army chaplain. Strong maintaining my faith, and through the wars and such. I expect I served with Chet, at least in one of these places. After returning, I did my best to build myself a little congregation. But things haven't always worked out as well as I'd hoped. So at this point, I think after my wife died, then I've decided to volunteer for this trip so that I can hopefully find the voice of God again.
I want to know more about Robert.
That's Dr. Robert. That's Dr.
Dr.
Robert
Douglas, I'm sorry.
Doctor. You can call me Dr. Bob if you want to. I'm not that formal, but it is Doctor. I didn't go to school for that long just to be called Mr. But yeah, so I'm coming to the zone because it will prove me right that I've always known there was something beyond, something just outside the edge of what we could measure and quantify. And when the things started happening in the zone, it's proving me right that there's something just beyond the edge of what we know as science. I mean, they say everything, unexplainable things seem like magic until, that quote, the suitably advanced technology seems like magic. And that, I'm going to prove that there is that something out there. They kicked me out of the university because they said I was crazy, but I'm right. I will prove that I'm right. That's why I'm here.
Excellent. All right. I want to hear about Arik.
All right. Arik is a hopeless writer who he has been investigating similar to Robert. He believes there's something else in the world. He's think ancient alien style where he thinks he's putting all these strings together and nothing seems to come of anything, but he's gotten this tip recently that may lead him to what he's looking for. He's also irrationally scared of cats and felines. I will say that.
There's 0 chance that's going to come up, so that's good.
And he has a certain reason why he is not going back, but I'm sure that will come up after.
All right. Everybody's done introducing their characters. Let's go next. Craig, why don't you start us off? It's the start of the expedition. You are all at the zone observation facility. The night before, you have to cross the boundary. This is a scene to practice the flow of the game. You are the director. The expedition has arrived at the zone observation facility. You decide what form it takes. It's a rustic manor and farm just outside the boundary, requisitioned by the FBC after its owners were not so lucky. All right, so let's get a scene. All right, you pick the next location. All right, get a scene prompt. Excuse me. All right, so the director starts and ends the scene. Read this out loud. There are 3 parts to a scene: the setup, collaborative storytelling, and the ending. The director is in charge of the setup and the ending, and facilitates collaborative storytelling by asking questions of the group. You can use the questions on the card or come up with your own. We'll use the next scene to practice this cycle. Okay. So introduce the location, decide which character it's about. In this case, it's everyone. Set up the situation described by the prompt. Where is everyone? Okay. In future scenes, you describe how everyone got there from the previous scene or location. The night before, everyone shares rumors. All right, so Chet's in this old abandoned house, farmhouse, and just told to go here. So I've been waiting. I happen to be the first one that makes it. Luckily, I brought a little flask with me. Told me I had 3 other people that are going to be joining me. So I go ahead and wait, and I'm not really that surprised when Dr. Douglas comes through the door.
So I come into the large, manor. I'm like, this is a little outside of what I'm used to living in. I live in my tiny, awful apartment ever since, the university got rid of me. And I'm carrying just a large pack full of all kinds of apparatus, and it's very heavy. Set it down gently on the ground.
Can I help you with that?
Yes, please. It's be very, very careful. It's sensitive.
So Chet, I'm going over there. I'm going to help him pick up the bags. I'm seeing if I can catch a glimpse of some of this shit that he's brought in with him as I'm doing it. But I'm pulling it in. So Chet, or Dr. Douglas, Chet, good to meet you. What have you heard about previous expeditions?
I've heard that, they had some astounding readings until we lost contact with them. And I need to confirm those readings and find out why they disappeared and where they went and what's going on in there. I mean, this is fascinating, aren't you? Don't you think?
Fascinating is kind of a strong word. I'm already seeing why they put me on this mission, though. Looks like you're going to be doing all the fancy work. I guess my job is to try to keep you alive. Wait, there's someone else here. Chet goes to the door, opens up the door, and Arik walks in.
Yeah, so Arik walks in and he's dressed in what you could, just judging by his appearance, he's a little bit just like mangled, and he's probably wearing his Sunday best in a beat up old sports coat from the 50s or 60s that he got at the thrift store, and beat up briefcase. And he's hello, you must be the others. And he goes over, but immediately his attention, he sees a bookcase, and his attention, he goes over to the bookcase. It drops his briefcase, and it unbuttons. He doesn't even seem to notice, and he's kind of just picking through the books.
Sir, I've got Chet Ironfoot. I kind of walk over there and being kind of a dick because he didn't introduce himself. One of those guys.
He goes, I'm Arik Fowler. Nice to meet you, Mr. And he already seems to have forgotten your name tag.
Ironfoot. Just call me Chet.
Chet. Yes.
So
nice to meet you.
Have you been? You're a reader. You like reading the books.
His eyes go beam over to his briefcase, and he immediately buttons it up. He goes, I'm in fact part of a writer myself. Yes.
So did you do a bunch of research about the zone? I keep hearing that there's a whole bunch of strange animals and plants inside there. Did you hear anything about that?
I have heard that strange and mystical creatures, perhaps, from the old days as he starts going into, he goes on like a small tangent of like weird, just ancient aliens, wacky mumbo jumbo. And you're like, okay. And he goes, and if you'd like to learn any more, I can absolutely introduce you.
We got a long trip ahead of us. Let's pace ourselves a little bit. Oh wait, you know what? I got to go. I hear somebody at the door. I go to the door and I'm going to let the chaplain in.
I'll be a son of a monkey's uncle. Shed Ironfoot, as I live and breathe.
Father, what's up, Pops? You, I didn't know if I'd ever see you alive the way you handled yourself out there in the field, but I'm happy to see you. You know how this is supposed to end, right?
I've heard things. So, but I can't go home.
Yeah. So you remember in Kabul, when I asked you to keep that bag in your tent for about a week or a half or so? Do you remember that?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So like that was something that I that I wasn't supposed to have. And I keep hearing stuff that there's some artifacts that might be here in the zone. Have you heard anything about that?
What I heard of was glowing stones that could cause healing that had healing properties.
I like that. All right, so I think that's kind of what the feel is, right? Is you have me being the director, kind of prompting and moving things, but we kind of interact with together. Does that sound kind of like what we were supposed to be doing, you think?
Yeah, it sounds like what we're supposed to be doing.
How's your phone, Doug? Good? All right. The director ends the scene and their turn.
I was writing. I've got notes.
I'm teasing you.
It's not my phone. My phone's over there. I'm writing down notes.
I'm proud of you. The director ends
things in RPGs.
You're already taking this more seriously than I am. The director ends the scene.
I'll forget things.
And their turn, then prompts, and the prompt is resolved. In this case, it's when everyone has shared a rumor. I guess I haven't yet. Who wants to ask me a question?
You stole all the practice questions.
I took it easy ones.
Yeah.
We can skip me. It's better to end the scene too early than too late. If you've gone off topic, end the scene. Now set up the scene that and start collaborating storytelling, which we did. When everyone has shared a rumor, click end turn. All right, so I'm going to end scene. And here's some QA for you. Got to update. You changed one and not the other. End scene. All right, so now Jim is the next director. The game will automatically select the next director going from left to right. It's possible to claim a turn out of order just in case. All right.
Let's see. It says here, you are the director. Can you see move to the boundary? It doesn't say only I can, so I'm assuming you can.
We can see it as well, yep. Okay. Go ahead, Jim.
We're about to start crossing the boundary. This will be split into 3 short scenes, one for each of the 3 key moves. Before we start the scene, we'll do a quick overview of all 3 moves. Move 1, take stock. Move 2, something isn't right.
Nice.
And move 3, not so easy. Let's see. Example, read this example out loud. The expedition is walking through a forest in the zone, but Jeff, the director, is feeling a bit stuck. Not sure where to take the scene. Let's take stock. I'm going to start back over here.
Start
on
on the left.
Yeah. Move overview. Take stock. Starting with you, every player adds a sensory detail about the scene: sight, sound, touch, smell, taste, or how your character feels. You can skip yourself if you don't have anything in mind. When everyone has spoken, return to collaborative storytelling. Continue after everyone is after reading overview and example.
So basically, this is something that we can any of us can invoke that takes stock. And you see this a lot in storyteller games. It's basically an opportunity to help. If someone's kind of stalled, it's like, let's play the take stock. Let's all throw in some more information and kind of help the director out. So that's cool. Do you want to read the example, Jim?
Sure. So Jeff says, not sure where to take this scene. Let's take stock. I'll start. There sure are a lot of these weird white flakes.
It's called snow.
All right, I'll be Amy. The air smells like sugar. It's sickly but familiar, like a memory from the bureaucrat's childhood. Doug?
I'll be Tarkin.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No, go ahead, Cody.
I was going to say, oh, yeah. And there's weird glowing moths.
On closer inspection, the leaves are the same material as the moth's wings.
Nice. Let's keep going. Those moths give me an idea. I was thinking.
All right, so cool. But I like that because all of us get a chance to like build the picture, right, and build the environment. So that's cool. Doug, you want to take us through Something's Not Right?
Something's not right. The person who triggered the move says, something's not right, and what they think might be wrong. Another player says, it's worse than that, and describes how. The player who said, something's not right, incorporates the escalation, and storytelling continues.
All right, I'll be Amy. Something's not right. I feel like the trees are watching us.
Ooh, creepy. Okay, it's worse than that. The branches are moving. They're trying to grab us. And they keep getting closer.
I think my scientists may not be able to resist trying to get a sample. All right, so that's the Something's Not Right. Who wants to do Not So Easy?
I could do it if you want.
Yep.
You got, because you just directed. So not so easy. When someone describes their character doing something not so easy, interrupt them by triggering this move. Anyone can say it. You can even call it on yourself. The person trying to do the thing restates what they wanted to happen, then draws a not so easy card to find out if it does. That player then weaves the outcome and its complications, usually a mutation, into the story, and play continues.
All right, I'll be Gian. The bear roars at us. His voice sounds like the surgeon. My chaplain thinks maybe she can rescue some of their humanity. She reaches out to try to touch his face.
That's not so easy.
I figured. Okay, so I'm trying to talk to the bear into letting us through. I flip the card. The card says no, and you mutate into a new form. Ha! I should have expected that. The bear lets the chaplain touch it, but her hand touches its face. It suddenly, horrifyingly starts to transform. That's cool. All right.
So this is basically Annihilation.
I was just going to say, I remember that scene from Annihilation.
I love that movie, by the way. I love that movie.
In fact, if I remember correctly in my interview, Raph even cited Annihilation as kind of a touchstone for the game. All
I
right,
need
so
to read that book series.
Jim, you are in charge of things.
All right, and I'm going to read these three and pick one, yes?
You're going to pick one, yep.
All right, shall I read them out loud?
Why don't you read the thing? Read all three, and then you pick one and tell us.
Okay.
And remember that you're going to have to say how we got from the farmhouse to wherever you chose.
Okie dokie. All right, so I have chosen The Boundary is Beautiful. It inspires wonder, a seductive presence drawing you into the zone. Jeez.
All right, so how did we get here?
Well, so after we all had our introductions, I think we all knew that it was about time for us to enter the zone. And so we all packed up our things and started to head that way.
Guys, let me go first. And inexplicably pull out a very large pistol. And I don't have it out, but I've got it handy. I'm going to start working through this, and I think we need to take stock.
Am I hitting a button to take stock?
I will.
Oh, there it is.
All right.
Sorry, I didn't
Starting
see
with
it
you,
up there.
every player. Okay, so we're kind of going through. We went out the back door of the farm. We walked past the barn. Barn, believe it or not, is in worse shape than the house was. And oddly, the ground is changing. So around the farm, everything was overgrown, a mixture of green and browns. And as we're kind of moving towards what they're telling us the boundary is, I noticed that there's a lot of wildflowers. So suddenly it goes from just green to just these purples and blue wildflowers.
Do we have a particular order, or do we just jump in?
Let's just do it. We're going to go as a troop.
So Auric's going to he starts kind of like tasting at his mouth inconspicuously, and he goes, "Do you guys taste that metal rust?"
Yeah, I do. I do.
There's a definite iron oxide taste to the air.
Yeah.
He pulls out his pencil, and the pencil is, or not the pencil, the pen is just completely rusted over, and it wasn't a few minutes ago. You saw it, or when we were at the house, and he just glares at it and drops it to the wayside, grabs another.
Does anyone just feel that the air feels electric? That it's just like ready to, you know, that feeling right before lightning strikes, that feels charged.
Yeah, I look at the hair on my arm, and I see. I didn't notice it before, but as soon as you said that, yeah, like the hair on my arm is standing up.
And I'll add in, when you're looking at it, the hair it's not just standing up straight. It's kind of like moving with some sort of weird gravitational, like when we're moving forward, it's bending and it changes
like we're
with what direction
moving through water.
Nice.
Right.
Do you hear that? It almost sounds like bells, or maybe even a lullaby.
I thought somebody was humming.
I'm not humming. Are you humming?
I can't hum.
I thought Chet was humming to himself, or father was, you know, singing a hymn or prayer or something there.
You know, I hear
These
that.
religious types.
The expedition sees the boundary for the first time, but does not cross it yet. So we're going to ask, what does the boundary look like?
So here's what I think you want to do, Jim, is in character, incorporate it in and basically prompt one of us.
Okay. I can see that. So as we're walking forward, definitely, Domingo says he starts to take pause. Hey, Chet, do you see that up there? What is that?
So yeah, Father, I see it. You know, when we were back farther there, I just thought it was a tree line, but is it just me, Father, or are the trees exactly the same distance from each other? Like a fence, but they're trees, and they're yeah. Let's hold up a second.
I pull out a camera, start to, you know, take some pictures, and you know, using a laser rangefinder, measuring the distance between the trees, going, yeah, they're perfectly spaced, but it's as though, you know, was cultivated. But the historical records show that this area immediately surrounding the farm was never harvested for lumber.
That's insane.
They shouldn't be growing perfectly spaced like that. It's as though they moved.
So it looks like, Director, you got a choice here. You can end us, prompt us some more. What do you want to do? Or close out the scene.
I feel like if this scene is to get to and not yet cross, I feel like this scene has wrapped itself up and we're getting ready. So I think we're going to go ahead and end this scene and move to the next one.
Beautiful.
Hey, look at that. I'm the director now. I'm the captain. All right. Oh, so I guess we do another scene in the boundary. There we go. What do we got? So yeah. So we're wandering closer to the line of trees to get a closer look at what's there, being cautious to make sure we stay on the prescribed timetable that we're supposed to enter, the zone at 800 hours. We don't want to enter early. We don't want to enter late because you know how they are. And Chet is a stickler for military operations.
Huge fan that you keep looking at your watch. That means like you and me are simpatico, man.
Oh, I mean, I've got to, see what times I make these observations. I'm constantly writing notes down.
I like you.
And as we get closer to the trees and the beautiful visual boundary, we kind of start to see a haze in the air between the trees. It just, something's not right.
I'm the one that triggered it. Guys, something's not right. So I got a briefing, and there was supposed to be a road. We were supposed to follow a road, and there's been no road. And hey Doc, can you bring out your little laser flickety flappity shiny thing?
My rangefinder.
Yeah, are the trees farther apart than they were just like 2 minutes ago?
It's worse than that. They're closer. They're farther apart, and they're bigger. They have larger diameters now than they did before. Yeah. They're growing and moving towards us.
But I didn't see any of that happen. Did you guys see any of that happen?
Not at all.
I looked down, I took notes, I looked back up, and it's like it was always that way.
Arik, what's happening up towards the top of the trees?
He looks and polishes his glasses, and the leaves start to kind of, it looks like they're almost separating, and then growing new branches seem to be just piercing out from the trunk itself. And because he's scared of that, he frantically looks around, and behind us, he's staring at where our footsteps were, and all the wildflowers where our footsteps were seem to have wilted and died, and like some sort of ash is coming up from them. And he points that out. He goes, "Trees are growing. Ash? Does anyone see this?"
I need to get a sample, and I go to get a sample, put it into a sample container there.
As ash is just coming up behind you.
Well, I need to know what's going on. I get a sample, put it in there, throw a little bit in a little reagent vial, shake it up. It's ash. I don't know why it's coming up, but it's like it burned in our footsteps.
The healing and light is in front of us, and death and despair is behind. Maybe time to move forward.
Oh, Father, you haven't changed much at all, have you?
I think we should make for that tree line, lest this death catch up with us. So, end the scene.
All right. Start. Another boundary scene. This one is going to be the not so easy. So we're walking, and we're not quite, we haven't quite hit the tree line, but we're about to pass through it. And as the ash is coming up behind us, we can clearly see the trees. You're not sure if it's like an optical illusion that the trees are almost coming out and going back in and almost growing and dying and just recreating. but they are growing. And Oryx sees something kind of make a disturbance in one of the trees above us, and he goes, "Jet!" and he points straight at it because he sees you have your gun, and he goes, he's on edge.
So I put the gun up and I'm trying to make it out. I can't make out exactly what it is. So I'm just going to start. I'm going to start shooting.
That's not so easy.
All right. So do you? I'm trying to figure out
he
whether
triggers it.
So you
I think
trigger
he triggers it.
it, Cody.
Yes.
So click it.
Let's see, right here.
Bottom
Nope.
right. Yep.
Oh, there it is. Sorry.
All right. When the character describes their character as doing something not so easy, interrupted by a trigger this action the person is trying to do. Okay. Doing the not so easy thing here. All right. So I'm going to draw this. So so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to shoot this, whatever the hell's happening up towards the top of the trees. Okay. So I start firing and we did not realize how quiet it was until the first shot rings. Even a guy like me who has fired guns many times is startled by how loud it is. And it's just because it's been so quiet. I don't think we just realized just the silence that's out there. So I shoot once, I shoot twice, and guys, I don't think I hit anything. Hey, Father, did I hit anything? And as I turned to the chaplain, you notice that one of my eyes has no iris at all. It's just pure white. My left eye is just pure white.
Oh, jeez.
Did I hit
Chat-
anything? I'm having a hard time seeing. I don't think I hit anything.
I don't think you hit anything either, Chet, but there's something going on with your
Yeah, I was
eye.
just with my eye. Hey, Doc, what's he talking about?
I come over and I look at you and I see, oh my gosh! I pull a pen light out of my pack there. Shine it back and forth between your eyes.
How's it look, Doc? Everything seems fine for me.
Okay. So it's your left eye that is all.
Yeah.
So I shine it in your right. Can you see this?
Yeah.
I can just find there. All right. Cover your right eye.
Okay.
And I shine it in your left eye.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you that you switched the light to purple, but yeah, it looks the same.
It's a white light.
Well, it was before he changed it.
No. It's a white light.
Okay. All right. Sure.
Yeah.
It's white. Yeah.
But you can see.
No. Yeah. I can. I can see.
How many fingers am I holding up?
4. Oh no, 2. Stop moving them.
2.
Yeah. No, 3. 2. You're back to 2 again. Yeah. 2. Okay. Yeah. 3. Then 4. 1. Not 1. Yeah. 1. Right. 1. Look, I'm fine. I'm fine, guys. I'm fine. Put the purple light away. I'm done.
You know what? I pull out of my pack as the scientist. Apparently, I am also a medical doctor at times, because movies. And I pull out a piece of gauze. I think you might have gotten something into your eye from a ricochet or something. I'm just gonna I put a piece of gauze over your eye and wrap it around there. So you got this rakish eye patch over your cloudy white eye now. There you go.
And I, as I turn forward to go there, not really crazy about you touching me, Doc, but all right. And as soon as kind of I turn, I get back in front and not immediately eye view of everybody. I just kind of slide it back up again so I can see. I mean, I see fine.
Yeah, and while this is going on, you start to we all start to hear this low echoing groan. It almost sounds like the Ent groan or something from the Lord of the Rings, where the tree that you shot at, the branches start to fall, and the leaves all at once fall to the ground, and it starts to contract rather than grow.
Oh, I run over and I grab, gather up some samples of the
I'm gonna
leaves.
pick one of those up.
I'm gonna pick those up, put them in, a sample container. And the tree, it's withering. It looks like it's fading. I run over there and pull out a knife and try to start cutting a chunk out of the tree before it withers away, because I need to see it as it is now, and then compare it, see if that sample withers after I cut it away, or if it withers at the same rate. I got to measure this.
I love it. So we are now. I will end the scene here, because I assume we are now at the boundary itself and entering it.
I like
and
it.
Auric is vigorously writing down. He notices everyone's walking up and drops another rusted pen and sprints up.
Oh, by the way, Craig, did you see that there was that mutation check sheet that you could keep track of your own mutations?
Oh, no, I didn't. I missed it.
Yeah, under there at the bottom it said, hey, mutation sheet, and says, only you can see this. So I think then you could end up keeping track of your mutations on that.
Very cool.
And it says only you can see this. Only you can see.
Gotcha. I missed that. Okay. Good shout out. All right, so it's my turn. We're going to move to the first location beyond the boundary. You are now in the zone. The next few scenes will be about exploring the zone, developing your characters, and most importantly, being very irresponsible. Remember, you will need not so easy cards for the end game. Have your characters do plenty of things that make it necessary to say, not so easy, mutations await. All right, so we've arrived at the power plant. So we're now well into the trees, I think, for a little while. I've got my gun out the whole time. The three guys are behind me. Every once in a while, our doctor friend, grabs a leaf here, grabs a piece of dirt there. Auric, you keep falling behind as you start throwing out pens like you bought a pack of them. And the only person that I really trust of all of you right now is the Padre, and he's staying close to me, which I appreciate. And we start kind of working our way through, and up ahead. I mean, it's obvious it's a nuclear reactor, a plant, and it looks like it's in bad shape. Guys, let's this was not in the briefing. Hey doctors, you didn't bring anything to measure like whether this shit's gonna nuke us or not, did you? Like,
I've got a Geiger counter here in my bag, and I reach into my huge Paco scientific apparatus.
Like, is it safe or?
You know what? And I noticed something on the ground over there. Yeah, I'll go check this out. Yeah. And so I happen to go see, while my Geiger counter clicking away, and I see on the ground the most beautiful flower I have ever seen in my life. Just looking upon the flower, it's like seeing the songs of angels, and it's the most beautiful painting and the most beautiful song and the most delicious meal in a flower. It is something so pure and so beautiful that it can't be shared. This needs to be mine. So I rush up and I go to very carefully, I don't want to damage this, dig around the base of the flower to try to take it for
Someone say
myself.
that's not so easy.
That's not so
I was
easy.
just gonna say, yeah.
And so I'm digging out the flower.
Apparently, it's not so easy to do that.
So you hit the little yellow box, Doug, to get your.
Okay, hit the box. Boom. So I'm trying to dig it out, and no, I can't dig it out. So as I try to get this flower, it suddenly bites me on the arm. It was a lure. This flower has evolved the most insidious of lures to get its prey, and so it bites me and draws starts to suck on my blood a little bit there, and so I rip it away. And wait, what did I click on there?
That's all right. I think we're good.
Yeah, and so I come, I whack the flower with my little shovel.
Hey, Doc,
and it
you
just
okay?
Instantly withers. Oh yeah. Just cut myself while digging. Yep. And I am covering up the bites as blood is dripping down my arm. Yeah. No.
What were you digging?
Beauty.
Hey,
Haunting beauty.
hey, Doc, you need a sip of this? I've got my little container of bourbon.
Its taste will pale to everything I have seen.
Oh, for the love of God! I put it back in my flak jacket.
He's good.
And
I'm
as
the writer, but he's good.
I look down at my arm and I see that the bleeding has stopped, but where the blood had dripped on the ground, there are flowers sprouting up now.
Passing the baton to the chaplain.
You're passing the baton to the chaplain. So, I think those flowers are lilies, and I think that might be a sign that that this is the Lord's work, and clearly, this place will take over. All of man's science in that power plant will be overrun by the Lord's nature of these flowers.
Hey, Padre, how long since you were out in Afghanistan, man?
It's been a few years, yeah.
Yeah, things going okay? Like, you okay, man?
It's fine. It's fine.
What do you mean we're fine? Who's we?
Just it's me. I'm fine.
Okay. All right. So, the camera kind of pans back a little bit as we see kind of the group had spread out a little bit, and now it's just kind of gravitated. We're back in our kind of our diamond formation, and we start moving closer to this nuclear plant.
Let's see what we get for our next scene at the power plant.
Set the scene, director.
I'm reading through my card here a little
Yep.
bit just to see where we're at. So I think what we actually see is coming off from the distance is it's a giant behemoth of a creature. It's a mix between a man and for grins, a cat.
Nice.
And it's a hulking man, and it rumbles and lumbers forward, and it howls, and I think it's going to head towards us as if it were going to attack.
Something's not right.
Yeah.
Well, that seems fair.
That's you, Doug.
So not only is this huge, gigantic cat man running towards us, something's not right about the look in its eyes. It looks as though it knows us.
Yeah, it's worse than that. Guys, get down. Someone grab the right. Someone grab Arik. It looks like Arik's face.
Oric's looking at it. He sees no face. He sees what could just be nothingness. And instead of, he's staring kind of hypnotized, which is strange because normally he would be morbidly afraid of this cat. And he's just staring at it. And he seems to be the one least kind of bothered by this cat. And while he's staring behind us, we can hear vines start like wriggling up, and behind us there's a massive vine fence that was not there when we entered this zone, and it appears to have just appeared.
All right, pull back, and I'm grabbing Arx by the back of the neck because he doesn't seem to be paying attention to anything. Here, guys, let's go into the hedges. Let's go into this vine hedge.
That's not so easy.
Okay, so I'm grabbing the back of Arik. I'm dragging us back and barking orders that we need to go into the vine fence. And I'm able to, I'm able to get, like, you guys understand, like the other two of you completely understand what's going on. And I'm not a small guy. I'm a good sized guy. And let's be honest, Arik's not been to the gym a lot, right? Yeah. So I grabbed the back of Arik's neck, and like you can tell physically what I expected to do was just to turn around and lazily, without minimal resistance, walk the two of us to this vine wall. I grab the back of Arik and I turn, and I can't move him. So, like, I'm pulling one arm, and I'm like, hey, guys.
So it's almost like a magnetic.
Yeah.
When you pull something and
I keep looking at your feet, Arik, and I'm like, guys, I can't move him. And it's getting closer.
Run to grab Auric as well and help pull him in. I can't pull him either.
Oh, and I guess I'll grab the other arm and we'll see if we can't pull them together.
So he moves, but I don't think it was because of how strong your added strength added. Why is he able to move, Jim? But he moves.
Why is he able to move? Well, clearly, if you were to ask Domingo, it's because of my faith that he would be able to move.
So the three of us are able to grab Arik, and we take him behind, and go to the go right into that fence. And this is Jim. This is your scene. We're pulled in now into the vine fence.
So I've popped another prompt just so I get a couple more thoughts and ideas here. This beast poses a terrible threat to the expedition as we stand on the edge of the boundary here. Craig, why might we have to confront this beast?
So, guys, look, I've got the briefing, and even though the road was supposed to take us here, this plant wasn't on there. we've been hitting the coordinates right. We're hitting the clicks right, and this auric faced cat thing seems to have lost our scent, but we're not going to be able to get around this without him noticing us. So, hey Doc, you got any ideas?
Well, let's take stock of a situation. Figure out what does it want. It looks like it knows us. And I look at it, and it smells like that, like rust, like we tasted, and like it smells, and it's got that rusty musk coming off of it, like we sensed outside of the boundary.
Yeah, it's almost like it's breath, right? Like I can smell it, and Jesus, now that's a little bit closer. You know what? I thought that was fur, but it looks like needles. Is he covered with needles?
Yeah, it's like a cat mated with a porcupine and auric.
Auric interjects, and he goes, oh, "I've got it. This is the creature. This is the Degoth. These creatures. In my works, I've read ancient societies have worshipped these for years. They've even made horrific art. I view them as arts of work. They'll push nails up," and he starts going off about how these ancient groups would push nails into these creatures and make like these deities. And he goes, "This, I've only seen them in art, but this is phenomenal." And he's again fixated with the beauty of this creature.
I think Domingo is a bit terrified of this particular horrible amalgamation of a creature. I feel like this scene is not done, but I'm not sure how to keep going forward.
Look, guys, we need to get from A to B, right? And it doesn't seem to want us to move forward. So, what's the plan?
Perhaps we could make an offering to it. They were worshipped.
Did anybody bring catnip?
Could somebody say cat?
Hey, Ark, what's your favorite food?
Spaghetti and meatballs.
Meatballs. Shit, hold on a second. And I pull out my pack, and in my pack, I've got like ration food, and it's ground beef. And I slice it open with a knife, and I form like this raw beef into like a ball to look like a meatball, and I throw it out into the field where this thing is. Hey Padre, can you see what it's doing?
I'd say it hunts after that meat. It pats it around a little bit, and then it takes a few bites. And it seems largely satisfied, oddly enough, with that.
All right, guys, let's go. Let's go this way. So stay with me. Stay out of its line sight. Let's go.
I've got to get a sample. While it's distracted, I run up with a pair of scissors to go and clip off some of those needles.
Oh, there we go. That is not so easy.
Yes. So I managed to clip off some of the needle fur and get it into my sample bag, and the zone mutates me, granting me a powerful gift the others just simply won't understand. So as I'm clipping it off, I get stuck by one of the needles, and suddenly I feel electrified. And as this, my previously bald pate starts to rapidly sprout a full head of what you might think is hair, but no, I start to grow down my head and down my back needles, like porcupine needles, exactly like the cat beast. And as I have obviously stabbed myself again, I drip a little bit of blood and a few flowers also sprout there at the feet of the beast. And then I run towards you all and go, okay, I got my samples. Let's go.
Yeah, you got more than that.
And I don't even notice that I have my luscious head of porcupine spikes.
All right, I think as we sneak past our cat monster, we're gonna end this scene.
So there have been 2 scenes here at the power plant. I think it's time that we move on towards the village. We've gotten away from there. So let me see. What are the options?
So the first thing you have to do, Doug, is obviously figure out what option you want to do, but you're going to want to set the scene by saying how we got from the power plant to the village. But pick which of the 3 you want to do there.
So as we get away from the crazy porcupine auric cat beast thing, which is, quite, taken in with its meatballs, we managed to continue on, running pell-mell through the forest to just get away from it, lest it decide to come back to us. And as we come crashing through the underbrush, we suddenly come upon what appears to be a village square. And this village is, your typical quaint country village. But time and nature appear to have reclaimed it. That there's vibrant green overgrowth over everything, and there's vines that are wrapping around everything that they seem to grow as you look at them, but not actively growing and moving. You look away and then you look back, and where there wasn't a leaf before, there's now a leaf. You look away, you look back, and there's a flower there. And you look away and you look back, and now that vine has withered. It's as though time passes more quickly when you're not looking at it there. So someone thinks they found a way to accomplish their obsession. Hey, Chet, I don't remember this village being on the map. Do you recognize this? I mean, you're Mr. Military, lead us on, guy. Can you do you recognize this village?
I recognize it better than I recognize you. No. This, I mean, we're way off map at this point. I have no idea what's going. Look, I think our best bet is we're gonna have to get through these vines. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, they're extending. Look, they're extending to all the way to the left and to the right. So it looks like whoever lived here ain't living here much more. And I don't think these vines are moving away. So, look, I'm gonna do this by myself. I got this. I'm gonna cut us through, and I pull out a machete, and I start going towards the vines, and I'm gonna start hacking away at the vines, and as I'm hacking them away, I cut away, and if for every 2 vines I cut, 1 will grow back. But I'm making progress. I'm cutting us through. Boy, didn't see that coming. So I'm hacking away at them, and I don't know what to do. So I'm gonna keep hacking away at them, and.
Perhaps something, some sort of spores.
Spore.
Come
I was going to say spore.
out of these vines that you're chopping up into mincemeat.
So as I finally am making progress, there's like a milky substance that starts bleeding out of the spores, and and what's crazy about this is, I get some of it on me and I'm wiping it off, and as I'm hacking away, I get more, and like almost like it's becoming intentional, like it's spitting this milky substance onto me, and at first I'm kind of noxious of it, but then it kind of feels good a little bit, like tingles a little bit, and Jesus, that's nice. Like, wow, like it's just getting easier. And I start hacking through it, and you guys are watching, and I'm cutting through it, and like I seem to be speeding up. And as I'm cutting the vines, I'm like, come on, guys, let's go, stay close. And you guys following me, and some of that milk spits onto the chaplain.
That sounds bad. So when this touches the chaplain, he definitely doesn't feel the same level of excitement and energy that you seem to be feeling about this. And he says, something's definitely not right here.
Something's not right. You said it.
I did say it. Does that mean I've triggered this? That's fair.
Who triggered it, Doug?
No, he said something's not right.
Something's not right.
He did say something's not right.
So I have technically triggered something's not right. This milky substance is burning my skin. I think that it is. It's definitely going to start doing bad things to you as well. This is it's a caustic substance that's touching all of us now.
Guys, the milk's fine. I'm just getting stronger.
It's worse than that. It not only does it seem to be giving you, chemical type burns, it actually feels hot. Like if you have enough of this on like a sheet of paper, it'll just burst into flames. Okay, we got to get out of this. This is I'm gonna get a sample of that, but this is not. This is like pyroclastic plant sap.
So I break through and I get us on the other side of kind of like where this is, and I feel like we're in the center of this village now.
Let's take stock of it. Yeah,
Yes. Did I trigger that, or did someone else? I was clicking it as well.
It's kind of an everybody thing.
We'll go. I'll go first. So in the center of the village, what sort of year are we saying this village is from?
I don't know. What year are we saying it's from?
The village looks to be like time stopped in the 1950s. That it was a quaint country village from the 1950s that time has forgotten and the land has reclaimed.
There's like an old Texaco like sign, like gas station sign. I like it.
The price, you see prices of, Coca-Cola, 5 cents, all those crazy awesome prices that we don't pay anymore.
I'll say one for sight. When we're in this area, it appears much brighter than the vines. So it looks like we're almost in a beam of sunlight. And as a side note, Auric immediately fixates on a single building as he's flipping through his book furiously. And he gets to a page and goes, "That's it!" And he begins running while the scene is being developed.
Yeah, guys.
I think he goes running off to that scene, him running off to the building, that scene, end scene.
Great.
Next scene at the building there.
Let's do it. Oh, and look whose turn it is.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to move to the campfire.
I think we're still in the village.
That's a cliffhanger. So the scene ends with all of us getting through the vines. The sunlight kind of hits our eyes, and before much can even be gleaned, you see Auric running towards this old antique shop. And he's sprinting towards a broken glass window and he is about to jump through it. Around, as Doug said, there's various other 1950s-esque buildings, and he appears to be sprinting straight towards a mirror.
Yeah, so I'm watching that happen, and I can't get a clear angle on it, but I've got a sneaking suspicion that the doc has a better sense of what's in the mirror.
Well, something's not right about that mirror. He's running towards this mirror, but instead of being actually mirrored, it's moving just out of sync of time with him. It's like the mirror is buffering.
It's worse than that. As you focus closer on the mirror, you see it is Auric again, but you see his skin start peeling off.
Oh,
not
Jesus.
not in a bloody way, but he's losing his skin, and it almost is stripping away any sense of him being a human that you can tell. He finally gets up to it, and he's going to try and reach at it.
But that's not so easy.
Yeah, I'll hit it. I got it.
So he is trying to reach at the mirror, almost to reach. He thinks he's reaching inside of it, is what he's trying to do. No, and okay, so he reaches at the mirror, and you're not sure why he was so fixated, but his arm goes straight through this old mirror. He doesn't seem fazed by it. He immediately pulls it out and tries to go through again. And as
Does
you
it
see
shatter, or is it you're literally reaching through the surface of the mirror?
he is just reaching through the surface of this mirror and pulling his arm out. And as he pulls his arm out, each time you see his arm begin to turn into a different sort of, like, it changes on how it looks texture wise. He finally pulls it out again, and his arm is just covered in mucus, and it's dripping from these sort of like pores in his arm. And he turns and he looks and he goes, I swear this was the one. This was the entrance.
The entrance to what?
Oh, to knowledge. To my great work. This is what I need. And he starts to walk to go into the mirror fully. And he catches himself and leans back and goes, but I know this is beauty. So this may be a beauty mirror. And he goes into a little tangent about, it's said that there's mirrors around this site that can grant you some sort of wish or some sort of attribute. And I swear this was the gift of knowledge, but man, I've never looked so beautiful in my life.
Oh my
as he's
God.
like sliding his hand on this mucusy arm.
I run my hand through my beautiful spines. This is a land of beauty, I suppose.
Let me see. Let's go. I have to close this, don't I?
Yeah.
All right. So through this, when we're in this house or antique shop, the chaplain, your eyes are kind of fixated towards this old glass box, and it has a shattered top with what looks to be like a very old antique version of like the King James Bible.
Yeah. as I reach through towards it, and I'll open the top of the box, and I pick up this old this old Bible, and I say, yes, definitely, the Lord's presence is here. I can almost hear him. I didn't say it this time.
Something's not right.
Who triggered that one?
I did. Something's not right. The Bible, as you start touching and turning the pages start, the text almost disappears. You look back at the last page and nothing's on the page. You can't make anything out.
But it's worse than that. Feeling the surface of not only do the pages seem blank to you, you feel the surface of it, and you know that this book is bound in human skin. And it feels like you knew who this book was.
It fills Domingo with dread. He screams and drops the book, and he says, "This is a falsehood. This can't be true."
But that's not so easy. Dropping the book is not so easy.
Yeah.
I would like to drop the book. Is the thing that I would like to do that is not so easy. Unfortunately, I won't be dropping the book. The book is stuck to my hands. So I can't drop it. One hand lets go and the other doesn't. And it's basically that my skin and the skin of the book's cover are sort of melded together in this sort of melted, awful way. I'm going to read through this mutation cheat sheet here to see if I can't figure something out with that.
I think you can make up your own as well. So if you don't see anything.
Sure.
It's kind of a guide for it's like, mutation, I need to come up with something.
Right.
That's where I'm at.
Well, you did say you wanted to be closer to God, and you're merging with the Bible.
That's true. And now I've got my own personal wordless Bible, bound in human skin.
That's pretty awesome.
So
I think he's definitely he's filled with terror and he can't get it off, and he's shaking his hand and he's freaking out quite a bit here.
Yeah, and as this everyone's seeing you shaking the Bible, and when Chet's looking at the Bible, the only thing you can see in it kind of comes up on the side of your vision where if you were to close your eye, your normal eye, the side of your vision where it's white is just a picture of a flayed man and a Bible kind of on a table in front of him. And all you can hear in your head are just vicious screams of terror from this man.
Am I able... So am I seeing both Domingo and this, or am I seeing this as Domingo?
He is on the ground below Domingo as he's throwing this skin Bible around, and he looks clear as day, but you didn't see him there before.
Okay, and he's flaying himself?
He is flayed. He has been flayed, and it is the flayed remainder of a man.
Hey, Padre, just walk real slow towards us. Just walks towards me.
He's probably not walking slowly at this point. He's sort of in a panic, and he'll eventually see you, and sort of it kind of breaks him out of it a little bit as he remembers, that Chet's always been the calm soldier, and he heads over that way.
And Chet's struggling because, no one else is really noticing this thing, and he's already realizing that reality is optional. Apparently where we are. So, but it's tough because in the military, he's always learned, don't leave somebody behind, don't and so he's having a tough time, and he's kind of pushing everybody to get the F out of this little antique shop. And he's just trying to push himself away. So he's deliberately making the choice of just pretending and ignoring whatever the hell this thing is.
All right. So as everyone sprints out of the antique store, we find ourselves back in the village, and I think it's a good time to end the scene there.
I like it. Ooh, all right. I'm ready to move to the campfire.
Let's do it.
We'll do it.
Beyond this point, soon the characters will die. Okay, but for a few hours you are safe. Go around and each share your theories about the nature of the zone. Now is only a good time for any unresolved character relationships that may be your last chance. So we watch, there's a soundtrack in the background as the camera watches the four of us kind of work our way through the village. We get to the other side of where this vine fence is. I'm able to again cut through this, and I like the impression you guys are getting is like I'm methed up a little bit, like Hulk, but I haven't physically changed at all, and I'm really enjoying this process of cutting through these vines with this machete. So
with the same sap as before.
Yeah, and I am, when it falls on me this time, it's like for me, it's like sun cream, like SP80. I'm just like wiping it on my arms, and you see me just get it like all over my face and stuff. And I work us the way through, and we get to a clearing. It's starting to get dark, which is really strange because, as best as I can tell, we've been traveling for about an hour and a half, and we left first thing in the morning. But almost wrote. I start gathering up some wood. Start us a fire. I sit down, pull into my bag, and I'd gotten a message before of what to bring, food-wise, with me based on who was in my group, and I pull out a bag that I had already, pre-labeled to Arik, and I toss it to Arik, and Arik, you slide the bag open, and what was I told to bring for you?
Well, the spaghetti and meatballs were given to the cat creature. So we're going to get a nice heaping bag of chili and beans, military style, the worst.
And Doc, what did your bag? When I throw you your bag? What did I put in there for you?
Well, in there's a pot to heat up some water in, and there's a cup of noodles in there. So have in there, and looking longingly at the campfire, go, hey, you don't happen to have any marshmallows in there, do you?
Yeah, there's a second bag at the bottom there, Doc. Just look.
Excellent. So I fill up the pot and put it over to start boiling some water.
And what's in the chaplain's bag?
What is in the chaplain's bag? What would
That's
he like?
not so easy. No.
Exactly. That is not so easy.
It's hard opening up a bag.
It's Ziploc.
Exactly. I've got a book hand, Craig.
By the it's easier to open it with page 44.
I'm gonna say it's a nice prepared chicken dinner with a little side of rice.
Awesome.
And what do you have there in your own little bag?
Me, energy bars, and like with a capital S at the end. So you see me just in a matter of 4 or 5 minutes tear through about 5 of them, and it is pure efficiency. It's one tear open, 2 bites to get the entire bar into my mouth. Chew as I'm chewing. You see me go to the second bar. One gesture, and the bar is completely devoid of wrappings. And it's like within seconds, like a conveyor belt. As I swallow the one bar, the next one goes in, and I'm just downing these things, just down in these things.
You okay over there, Chet?
Dude, I feel great. Like I feel good. Yeah. But hey, like Arik, man, you've been writing a ton of shit down, man. Like, what's your take on what's going on here? Like, are we gonna make it out of here?
Oh, well, no, I don't think so.
You want to take some time to think about that?
I hope you are enjoying this meal. Things are worse than they seem. Judging from my research and everything that we've seen today, time and space do not matter here. And reality bends to our biggest fears. This was written about as a sort of purgatory in ancient societies. And it seems like we may have found one on planet Earth.
Shit, are we already dead?
Do
Chaplain.
I look dead as his arm?
Padre. Are we already dead?
Purgatory would mean there's a chance for us to go to heaven. And I believe that this place is pure chaos. There's no one listening to us anymore. There's no one. And he sort of sits with, his non-book hand to his brow, and you can definitely tell that experience has sort of defeated Domingo here.
Well, I get, I'm supposed to do some checks. I should do some checks. And so I pull out, the med kit, my notebook to, make sure I've been assigned to check up on everyone's vitals when we stop and rest, just to see how everyone is. And I check on Chet, and his heart is freaking racing. It's like, it's like he is living 3 seconds for every second that the rest of us are living. And that is just racing. And he feels hot, like uncomfortable to touch how warm he is, but you don't seem to notice it all. I take Oryx, vitals, and he seems to be perfectly normal. That other than, drippy mucus arm, which I make sure I get a nice sample of that mucus.
Yeah.
You have a Kleenex?
Oh, yeah. His vitals seem perfectly normal.
Hey, your arm looks stuffed up.
I take my vitals, and they're sporadic. It's just my heartbeat is not normal at all. At one moment, it's racing. At other moments, it's perfectly calm. And I take, Domingo's vitals, and he has no heartbeat. He's his skin feels like the leather of a book. It is though, but he doesn't feel like a dead corpse. He just feels like a leather-bound book, and he has no noticeable heartbeat. He's basically room temperature, not like a cold corpse.
He's as dead as Tom Clancy's career.
He's dead, but not dead. It's because he's quite obviously moving around in front of you. Are you feeling okay, Padre?
I feel fine. Your contraption's probably broken.
I go into my bag to make sure that, just to find backup stuff, and I see some of my samples have completely rotted away.
Nice.
Others look like they're sprouting and are alive, and time is moving at a different rate for different things. It's chaotic. Things that were alive moments ago appear to be dead, and things that were dead are alive, and that time has no meaning here.
So I'm imagining the camera again kind of pulling back, and to the point where you can see the darkness surrounding. Everybody's trying to kind of get themselves situated. Kind of, instead of sitting straight up, you kind of start sliding down a little bit, kind of half laying down as we finish up eating. Chet finishes his bars, throws the wrappers in the fire, and he's like, I'm going to walk around a little bit. You guys, chill out, right? Catch a couple Z's. I got things covered. And the camera
Roast some
fades.
marshmallows.
Looks like we are moving to the prison.
Who thought that was a good idea?
Apparently Jim did.
It didn't give me a choice to stay at the campfire.
Gonna live there now.
The writer Auric must die in the coming scene. They cannot be stopped by not so easy cards, only by another player asking to claim their fate, even after the scene is under the way. After death, Cody will continue playing turns as the Zone.
So someone can claim it for him, or he can accept his fate.
I think he's going to accept his fate.
Do it.
Oh, so that makes me the director. Okay.
Nice.
All right. Let's see how our good writer friend dies. All right.
You're gonna have to get us from the campfire to here. Remember.
Yep. All right. So, before we learn how we go there, the prison, the walls are in tatters. There's a giant hole in the front gate, though it looks like it's from something entering, not exiting. And before we get to the prison, last night, before I describe that, what did Chet see anything on his night watch? Or would you like me to riff for you?
Hold on. What
Yeah.
did you have to hide to be accepted by the others? Why did you believe it was necessary? Yeah, what did you learn about me?
So I think Chet may have gone off and either tried to find some more of those vines that he seemed so endeared with to kind of keep him, all hyped up on adrenaline. And as morning comes, Chet is still roaming around the campground. Everyone else seems to have slept or have gotten some sleep. Chet's eyes are bloodshot, but he's fully cognizant. He is alert. He is in the same frame of mind as before, and he is playing guard for the group.
So as we start, we then cut to us walking towards the prison, right? So we can see the prison ahead of us, and I kind of itch myself towards the Padre as we're walking, and I said, "Last night was something else, Padre. They all forgave me. They, like, one at a time. Every one of them forgave me.
Every one of who?
All of them, Padre. All the non-soldiers. All the women. The children. Every one of them that I killed. They came up to me last night. And everyone said it was okay. And they forgave me."
That might just be the miracle that I've been hoping for.
Yeah. Yeah, if this is the end, I didn't think this would happen before the end.
So, after Chet's vision quest, we approach the prison.
With my Vine sunblock, let's be specific.
With your vine sunblock that kept you up, and you were
Meth
like, all right, Eric's over here. I'm going to this rock. Eric, How the hell are you? It's been a while. Sorry how we ended.
Sorry about the bullet to the back of your head. How you been?
You're right.
Here, try some fine. Shit's
Um,
great.
so we come to a prison with a large hole, like I said, where it looks like something tore. It doesn't look like brute force. It almost looks like a combination of just tearing with like teeth and claws at the solid like rebar concrete, and it managed to dig into one of the cell blocks at the base level. And I'll say Robert. So as you look at the hole, you're experiencing some sort of vision of the. You turn away and you look back, and the hole is not there. It's completely fine, and there seems to be some large. You can't make out what this creature is. You see a almost like a shadow with like a shimmery body, and it's just clawing at the wall there. And you can hear some sort of deep rumbling noise echoing from where the hole is.
So I look at that hole and I see that the hole is not there. I see that creature and I pull up my camera to document it, and my camera shows that the hole is there. I pull it down. I see the creature.
Yeah, something's not right. Something's not right because the way the doctor is before he would be observing, he would take his time, he would take notes down, and we see him, we see the doctor bring his camera up, take a couple pictures, and then just kind of drop the camera and just start walking towards this void, start walking towards this entrance.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, there we go.
Who's gonna do it's worse than that?
It's got to be worse than that. There actually is a creature on the other side of that hole, and it's actually it's coming this way.
So when the group gets to the whole entrance, we see this massive, what looks like a flesh construct, sewn together bodies, and on these actually, let's do this and I'll start and we can make this
Perfect.
together.
Yeah.
So I will do the first one as visual. The flesh bodies are you could see prison uniforms, tattered remains of prison uniforms that haven't quite fully decomposed off of this creature.
This is probably, after, even though all of this is screwed up, even through my Vine lotion stuff that I've got on me, probably the first time that you've seen me sweat, the first time that you've seen me shut up. Maybe the first time, definitely the first time the chaplain's ever seen me show any fear.
So this flesh construct that we're talking about, you can see that because it's stitched together, there are actually the pieces of flesh that are stitched together on all over the place. There are mouths in different places on knees and on shoulders, and they're all they're moving and they're groaning and howling in pain and in fear and in anger, and all of these sounds that it's making are just this cacophony of just awfulness.
And as I continue to walk towards it, I hear through the cacophony, I hear in its moans and its wails, not random sounds, but I hear words. I hear in my mind, each inmate that is in there, and there's dozens, maybe hundreds in there, and they are each whispering the confessions of every terrible deed they did,
Jesus,
every
nice.
murder, every horrible things that will just turn your hair white if you hear all this. And I'm hearing it all. I'm hearing them all at the same time, and yet I'm hearing them each individually. And I walk forward as I see this being out of time, and I reach forward to touch this being. I have to touch it.
Yeah,
Oh,
all
I'm
right,
doing it.
someone
That
do it.
can't
Yeah.
be so easy.
I'm like,
That's not so easy.
And no, the zone mutates you in some way that triggers someone else's phobia. So
I like that there's just the caveat there, just in case. If there's
as
no one
I
else.
reach out, I touch it, and I feel it. It repels me. It knocks me back onto the ground, and I fall to the ground, and I feel a mutating energy ripple through me. And then I feel my bones twisting. And as I already have those porcupine-like spines, I rise to my feet, and you see that I too have become one of those vaguely humanoid feline creatures we saw earlier.
He's going cat. He's going full cat.
I'm going full cat, but not as hulking. I'm the build of myself that whoever that was that mutated before must have been a huge beast of a man. But it's me, but I, am struggling to stand on two legs, but manage it, and a tail rips its way through my pants.
I love it.
And I turn around.
So that scares the shit out of Auric. He drops his books. He manages to take one and begins maddeningly sprinting with a book out in front of him. It has some sort of strange sigil on it. And he's chanting, Zagdas, giver of knowledge.
Oh, Jesus.
And he is sprinting and saying, bestow upon me your gift. Bestow.
Who brought the cultist?
Well, getting cult chanting right is not so easy.
All right.
Don't want to say the wrong chant there.
Yes, it works. So this is great. All right. So he begins again chanting this creature is kind of like hunching towards him, and its hand grabs onto his chest, like just his single hand is big enough to grab his entire chest, his entire diaphragm, and you see his body starts to get sucked into this creature's arm, and its hand, you then are able to see
The flesh
pieces of
construct?
yes
thing? Okay.
pieces of Auric. You see his mouth just gasping for air as the book drops, and with a page open, the creature seems to have absorbed him in some sort of sense.
Oh, that's a good death. That's a good death.
And the creature seems pleased as he's looking at his new prize piece, and holds up his arm to hear whispers of Auric's confessions and knowledge.
Very nice.
What's the passage of the book say?
I can hear him. As I heard all of the confessions of the inmates, I hear all of Auric's life in an instant.
I claimed head of household.
Yes, you're definitely
Coupon
able.
was expired.
I stole Tic Tacs in 3rd grade.
I hear it all.
I
Um,
told her she wouldn't get pregnant.
oh man.
Plagiarize the whole first chapter.
So mechanically, just for a second, is Ark dead?
Ark, I believe he is dead. He is part of the. I would view him as part of the zone.
Right,
now,
but like
in
Ark,
this
as we
sense.
know Ark, right? So
He is
so
dead.
on our screens, I don't know if it's on your screen, Cody. There's a card like behind you, on your
Oh, let me see.
like. Do you see what I'm talking about? Like on your little thing there.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
over here.
Can you click that? Because I
your
couldn't.
fate card is
I
card is
can't.
tucked behind you. I think
I
those
can't
come up
click
when
it.
we get to the last
Got
person.
it. Okay. So
I
all
think
we
you have to
needed to
click
do
the
is just
claim
make sure
fate.
that Ark. Only thing that Cody
Yeah.
needed to make sure of was that Ark died. But Cody,
Right,
you're
and
still the
then-
director.
Right. So the book, as this creature looks, it like hunches away into the prison deep, and it fades into black. The book is laying on the ground, and from the passage that you see, maybe some of his mumbo jumbo ancient alien stuff might have had some truth to it, as he was searching for a giver of knowledge, a god that absorbs each organism that they take, and it takes its knowledge. You're not able to gather too much more, but you sense that he may have gotten what he wanted. And I guess, do we reveal like any other things about our characters when they're dead, or
I don't think so. I think we just keep going. So you keep acting
All
as
right.
director. So you either go to another prompt or claim your fate.
I think we're gonna end the scene here and see what happens. Yeah, and turn. Ooh, that's cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, there we go. Now
Once your character dies, you fully play the zone. You still take normal turns as the director, use all the moves and so on. Now is the chance to focus on fully on creating the weird, magical, and horrible situations. All right, cool.
All right, and I will say the book that you were able to gather was his journal. So if anything comes up where you need any sort of
And
outlook,
for those of you that play Call of Cthulhu, the first thing you have to do is you got to read the cultist journal. Nothing ever bad happens when you read their journal. That's key.
perfect.
So let's just
All right, Doug.
start the turn here. There we go. So yeah, I feel like we need to do another scene in the prison.
Yeah, we got a flesh construct.
We got a flesh construct who started to amble off into there. Something helps a character see the true potential of a mutation. So, okay, so as the book is dropped on the ground and we stare horror struck as Auric is absorbed into the monster. And it wanders off. I see that the book is there on the ground. Padre, what do you do to this blasphemous tome?
Just because it's a book, I'm the book guy now.
Well, clearly he
We
was.
hear you're
having-
handy.
So he was.
Exactly.
You're a man of God, and he was chanting some crazy
Some horrible,
occult
horrible
shit.
culty things. This seems true. I'm going to say that the book on my hand begins to glow and sort of spark, and as it flips through pages, the lettering starts to appear again, and inspired, I then reach towards this journal, and
Something's not right.
uh-oh.
Something's not right because as the Padre reaches to the journal, he sees Corinthians in the journal, and he looks at his King James Bible that has now been molded to his hand, and it's the journal.
But it's worse than that.
Oh, gee.
He is the book, and the book is him. And now everything that is in that book he knows. It's in his head. It's as though even though it wasn't there a second ago, it feels as though it was always a part of him. But he feels as though he left something behind in the other book.
Yeah, and to the point where I'm pretty sure Padre can hear Oric having a conversation with him.
I'll make this even worse. The book, so as you pick it up, it can't get any worse. So yeah, when you pick it up, as you sense this knowledge and you can hear Oric's voice, you also sense that your mind is fleeting. It's you're not able to remember, and it hits you hard. You're not able to remember things as well as you could before. Your your reactions are worse. And you have some sort of weird, I guess, grasp on reality. Like you fail to grasp reality, in a sense.
Right.
And you hear Oric go, "We are one now, my brother." And I'll just add, he is constantly whispering some sort of strange language in the back.
You thought he was annoying when he was alive. All right.
So I think that the mutation that the chaplain has had beyond being one with a book was also one of sheer abject terror of becoming one with a book. So if this mutation were 10 times stronger, I can imagine that he would begin to scream again, much like the first time this book was stuck and attached to him. And I think the thing that he lost is some of that biblical knowledge, is some of the things that he had to lose to gain this journal knowledge, and he's now just panicking and completely flipping out here.
And then we continue on into the prison there. And you happen to see that where the hole was ripped in the wall, it's the prison library.
More books. Yeah, at this point he now must consume knowledge, much like our poor lost Oric. And so he goes to head to grab more and more books and to see what he can learn.
That's not so easy.
It's not so easy. So we're gonna try to gain some knowledge of the prison and the library and the zone, and let's see what happens. No, it does not.
Immediately deal with it.
And immediately dealt with. This problem must be. So as I mentioned, the initial book, the initial book began to spark. The book, as he reaches for a bookshelf, the book sparks again, and it sparks flames, and the entire library starts to catch ablaze. And of course, all of us are in here, and the flames start to spread around the entire library.
Chet's immediately is going to yell at his scientist cat porcupine friend. I'll get the Padre. You get us out of here. I'm following you.
And let's get another prompt here real fast. Ooh, let's get some more prompt. So the environment triggers a character's phobia. Let's see. What are you? Mike, what are you afraid of? Let's find out some.
Yeah,
phobias.
I know what Craig's afraid of. Craig's afraid that he's going to need more. He's going to become a burden, and as I spark, I'm actually now on fire, and so now Craig is catching fire. So now Chet is beginning to burn, and of course we remember that he's covered in this caustic, awful sap, and that sap starts to catch, and it goes up fast.
So I immediately I drop down. I start rolling around so that the fire goes out, and and it's so important to me that I want to be the reason that we get any level of control in this situation. So as soon as I can get the fire out on me, I'm immediately going to help Domingo. So I'm gonna try to get to Domingo, and whether pull a blanket out of my pack and wrap it around Domingo to try to put out the fire, and try to move him and I out, and just hoping that Robert, Dr. Douglas is looking for an exit and looking to get us out of this freaking hellhole.
And I see that the way in is now engulfed in flames. So the entryway is no longer an option for escape. The only way out is to go deeper. And I see the what would be the entrance to the prison library from inside the prison open, and I sprint towards it with my now cat-like reflexes, and try to leap over things and dodge around things and get to the door. I'm like, guys, this way.
And I'm carrying Domingo. I've got Domingo and fireman pose, over my shoulder, wrapped like a.
Not so easy.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Struggling.
And you're wrapped like a burrito on my shoulder, and I've got my pistol in the other hand, and I'm trucking, trying to carry you out of here. Geez, what can we do here? So I'm imagining, I'm running. I'm trying to keep track of Dr. Douglas. I've got you wrapped up inside of me, and Domingo's hand comes out from the blanket, and it like in his hand, not his 5th edition rare book hand. His other hand comes out, and like at first I can feel his hand on my cheek and like on the side of my head, and I feel like it's like it's comforting, right? Like a thank you is what it feels like at first. And he kind of pats me, and then I can just feel your fingers tips like start to dig into my skull, and like before I can even react, you're first knuckle deep. Your fingers are first knuckle deep into my skull, and it's not like you're burring a hole into it. It's like hot butter on a skillet. Your fingers are hot butter on a skillet, and your fingers are just melting into the side of my head, right? And as the further your hand gets melted into the side of my head, the clearer I can hear Arik's voice. And like the first thing he'll tell me is he goes, I never thanked the soldier for the hot cocoa and knowing I liked spaghetti, and that test in 4th grade I cheated, and I shouldn't have, because I would have passed it without cheating, and I shouldn't have, like, and it's just like droning into my head. And now I'm having a tough time now. Like I've got you carried this way. I've got my gun. I've got now about a third of your hand melted into the side of my face. So that's a good yes, but
Seems.
So we dive through, the camera pulls back as Chet comes diving out of the entrance to the library, as there's a fireball behind him, and he doesn't look back at it because cool guys
never does.
don't
And
look
the first
at
time we've seen the
explosion.
camera go in slow motion.
Oh, exactly. Slow motion. Cool guys don't look at explosions as it pans out.
Especially
And,
cool guys with their old chaplain's hand melted into the side of their face.
Exactly. That's
Can't
especially
possibly
cool.
turn back.
All right. So that ends that scene there.
Oh, interesting.
Let's see. You've died, but it's far from over, even though you're okay. So I am the director. Let's go. So, were we?
I think we're still inside the prison there. I think
Yeah,
it still
that's what I
makes
was
sense.
thinking.
We haven't
I'm okay
quite
if we move to the
escaped
swamp,
yet.
though. If you want to transition us to the swamp, I'm just
All
thinking
right.
time. We're
I got
over
this.
almost 2.5
Okay.
hours.
All right, yeah.
So,
Ha!
sorry, Robert.
Thank goodness, because we're fused together.
All right, claim it, Doug. Accept fate.
Oh yes.
Is anyone else
I'm
claiming his
Nope.
fate?
I'm accepting my fate.
All right.
I
So now
guess
Doug is
I
the
am
director.
Oh,
Oh,
you get to direct.
Oh,
You always
right,
get
you
to
direct your own death.
So first, get us from the prison to the swamp, Doc.
All right, I'm just seeing what the options for the swamp are. So, as we come tumbling out of the prison library, we happen to notice that it is near the actual entrance to the prison. And it has something, obviously ripped its way to get into the prison. But then clearly the guards who were here got the heck out. And the prison library just happens to be just inside that, zone there where beyond there's a locked gate. We're able to go stumbling out of the front of the prison. And out the front of the prison, there is this mangrove swamp that clearly they built this prison in just the worst area they could.
It's in Alabama.
It's a very.
I'm sure it wasn't that bad before the barrier came up.
It was awful before the barrier, and it just got worse. So it is a suffocating bayou, throbbing with buzzing things and dense networks of mangroves and brackish watered and mangled roots.
So I'm carrying the Padre wrapped in his blanket, and I'm following you, Doc.
And so, as we get there, exhausted, the doctor sits down on a stump. And
Something's not quite right with this stump. As you sit on the stump, you start sinking into it. Feels like your lower body, your upper body is staying firm where you sat, but your lower body feels like it's being lowered into the stump.
You said he's being lowered into the stump?
That's how he feels, yes.
Okay.
Oh, it's worse than that, because once I work my way out, once I see the doc, who in my mind has gone far beyond this, like he's not even the doc anymore. So I'm in full triage mode at this point. And I turn, and I don't say it out loud because I realize I don't have to. I say, "Hey, Padre, remember Ababala?" And I just take my gun and I put it to the doctor's head.
Oh,
And I fire.
but that's not so easy.
yes.
You're gonna die.
Oh!
All right. I am actually, because we know the scientist dies, and the scientist is going to die from my bullet, from my betrayal. I want Doug to tell me how everyone, there's only 2 of us left, everyone in the expedition mutates because of what I just did, the betrayal I just did.
As I hear the gun click with my now heightened cat-like reflexes, in time seems to freeze and stand still. I turn around and I swipe with my cat-like claws and cut deeply into Chet's, lotion slathered, methed out, crazy heart racing existence and rip into his non-gun hand because it was what I could reach.
Yep.
And his arm is a mangled wreck now. And with my other arm, I grab the Padre and I rip him free from the face of Chet and take a bite.
Oh.
And in it, you feel just everything imbuing into you there. And you taste on my tongue, I taste dust
Catwoman.
and paper and leather. You don't taste like meat. You taste of a book, and yet you still bleed. And as this, you feel your arm is mangled, Craig.
Yeah.
But from your blood, plants begin to grow, as you saw with that lily earlier.
Yeah.
And where you're pricked with the porcupine spines, you start to get it's like it's infecting you. And in the last thing to go through my head before Craig's bullet is...
I was going to say, the last thing that goes through your head is my bullet.
Before Craig's bullet is...
Other than Craig's bullet.
But I'll never know. I'll never know why. And as he blows my head off, out through where my blood splatters upon the wall, those beautiful flowers begin to grow.
Absolutely awesome. All right. Gonna move us to the lab, Doc. Just you and me.
All right.
Hey, Doc.
Not Doc, he's a Padre.
Or I'm sorry, Padre. Well, he separated us. He tore you, but
Yeah, so I think that like right at the wrist. So you've got
I still got. That's what I wanted.
everything
yeah.
right
I still
to
got
right
your
to
hand.
about here.
Yeah.
But
That's what I needed to know.
and so I'm separate.
Beautiful.
Oh!
Oh! Okay. So we get through the swamp, and I keep going like this, and it's like I can feel the hand there, and it's not like it'd be one thing if it was just your dead hand, Padre, but it's not. It's your like moving hand, like your knuckles and move, and it's just like but I don't have to carry you anymore, which is great. And my arm that was holding you before is all torn to shit because of the fucking cat doctor. And we work our way through the swamp. And there's a couple things that come up to us. There's these like ugly ass big fucking mosquitoes. And at this point, like we're the monster. So like shit would come up to us and be like, yeah, no, I'm good. But like they would just like veer off, and we had no troubles, getting through the swamp. And in the center of the swamp, there's effectively an island, right? Where it's raised up above the swamp level, above the water level, and it's dry. It's got high grass, and it's back to the 1950s again because it's an old-time alchemist pharmacy. And unlike, it looks like it belongs in the village where we were, but this one isn't overgrown. This one has an open sign on it. And I look at you, and you look at me, and the camera follows as we see the Padre and the soldier walk in to this fully functioning pharmacy test lab. So as we go in there, it's the strangest feeling for Chet, because part of his brain is like none of this makes sense, and the overgrown village made more sense than this, right? And the overgrown village didn't make sense, but this doesn't make sense. It's normal, and it's out of like the television reruns you used to watch when you got home from school. It's like that's the shows he watched that would have like a scene in here, and people are shopping with like carts and baskets, and the women are all in dresses, and all the men are in jackets and ties to go to the pharmacy. They dressed up for that. And there's like do 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 playing, you know, like through the speakers and going. And I'm hearing the girl from Ipanema. That's not what you're hearing, Padre. So how does this invoke the worst version of your phobia?
The worst version of my phobia, and we're in a pharmacy. So I think that my phobia is that there's no one out there listening for me, and I think that this pharmacy, this triumph of science over religion, lets me know, and the abnormal normalcy of it all makes me feel that I've lost everything. I've lost my connection to God, and I've lost my wife, and I've lost my home, and all of these things.
You lost your hand in my face.
I lost my hand. I lost my other hand. I've got a book for one hand. I've got I'm leathery. It's all terrible. And so it's what God would allow us to be in this way.
Hey, I'm the director. Who just did that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I did that. I didn't know
Wow,
I could do
Jim,
it.
I'm not even dead yet.
I'm working on it.
All right. A dangerous anomaly holds a way for someone to avoid their phobia. Whose phobia, and how does this anomaly help you avoid it? So I see you kind of walk off, Padre. And you know, I'm trying to take it all in. And it's then that I start to notice the ceiling of this pharmacy. It's like sliding down. So like you can see the walls, the side walls, there's some support pillars in the middle. And it's not that it's falling, it's like sliding down as if somebody's on the top of it, and there's holes cut where the walls and the pillars are, and just the ceiling is getting slid down. And nobody seems to be paying attention to it. Like nobody seems to recognize, including you, Padre, that like the ceiling is coming down. It's crushing us.
Yeah, something is not right.
That's you, Doug.
And that, yeah, you see that the ceiling is coming down. And none of these people seem to notice. And they just go about their, their day-to-day operations. A store clerk comes up to you and says, "Hello, sir. How are you doing today? Mighty fine day we're having."
Gets worse than that. So as the ceiling starts coming down, it starts hitting the tops of the shelves around this sort of pharmacy. And it's crushing the tops of these shelves. They're tall retail store shelves. And glass bottles and all sorts of paraphernalia are coming off of these shelves. And they're hitting the people that you see peacefully shopping and mangling them, just gashing them and cutting through their skin. They don't seem to, they just keep shopping, walking on the glass, and nothing seems to affect them.
And I'm watching this whole thing happen, and I'm taking it all in, and I'm seeing that every one of these like patrons of this place, nobody's acting like it's a problem. The little 17-year-old kid that walked up and that had Billy on his name tag, like he's like a gawky teenager, and he's about like 6'1", and I'm mid, I'm like 5'10", right? And I see the ceiling get to his head. And he's like, yeah, so we've got a special on. And I see the ceiling just start to crush into his head. He's not even acknowledging the effing fact that his head is getting crushed by the ceiling. And I'm looking around. I'm quickly trying to take this all in. And the only person that seems to be recognizing what is happening is the chaplain. I see the chaplain look up at the ceiling and recognize that the ceiling is moving. And it all just floods in. I've been forgiven. And the one thing that I want is I want to show everybody I was as good as I promised. I was as strong as I said I was. And I see a large drainage like grate near where the chaplain is. I run over there. I kick it with the heel of my boot. The grate goes flying. I push the doctor into the hole.
But it's not so easy.
As you see the ceiling start to crush me, click it like you mean it.
It's not so easy to shove the Padre into that hole.
All right. So you see me just shove the Padre, trying to shove the Padre into this grate to save him from the crush of the ceiling. And as I'm being crushed, the Padre, Domingo looks up, and you can see me getting crushed, and you can see like the kid that was next to me do the same thing you did. He just puts his hand into my face and melts his hand into my face as I start to crush. And the woman in this blue tartan dress, she walks over to me and she puts her hand into my face and melts it into my face. And you can see me getting crushed. You see my blood now starting to drip down into the drainage, like sewer area that you got dumped into. And you look into your hand, the book hand, and you just open it. And it flips to a fresh page. And you've read my reports. You've been there like when I've written letters and stuff. You know my handwriting. And you just see in pencil, I'm here too. Chet no mas.
Die!
I am next, so let's start this turn. So since we've been pushed into the sewers, I think we're gonna move to the bureau.
I like it.
And I'm gonna crawl my way through, and out the other side will be this bureau.
The local DMV.
That's amazing.
Clearly, what
is
definitely
true cosmic
belongs
horror.
at the center of this horrific journey is the DMV.
It is horror.
It is look at number 3. Monitors rows of uncomfortable seating.
I'm not clicking that one.
All right, so windowless. All right.
I'm clicking the windowless concrete building.
Sole survivor in the sewer.
Well, as I come out of the sewer, I crawl my way away from the now destroyed lab, and the next time I see a grate up, I push my way up forward, and I push my way up into the bureau, a windowless concrete building, millions of pages of government records rot inside locked offices, surrounded by an endless cubicle farm. Take a very risky shortcut. I wish I could see what's under this card. Between the cubicle farms and all of the other things, I think that the reason I would need to take a very risky shortcut is what is a good reason to need to take a very risky shortcut?
Something's not right.
Yeah, I was gonna say something not
That's,
right.
that's a good reason not to take a shortcut.
You start working. We start to see the Padre all by himself, Domingo working his way through the cubicle farm, and you finally see an exit sign, like the fire exit sign, right? Like hanging from the ceiling, lit. And you start heading towards that sign, and when you get to that sign, you see the same hallway again of cubes, and a hallway, and at the end of the hallway is another exit sign. And you race to that exit sign. And when you get there, you turn and you see the same hallway again.
But it's worse than that.
Do it. We'll do 2, but it's worse.
That
because he's the only son of a bitch that lived.
As you run past these cubicles, you feel your book powers just pulling this knowledge into you, and there is a flurry of papers just whirling around you like a tornado of papers. And as they touch you, you feel the weight of the knowledge of this faceless government entity and all of the horrible things they've done. Countless human experiments, the assassinations they've ordered, the atrocities they have committed are piling into your book. And the sterile analysis of these horrors echoes and pounds in your head.
Jeez.
For the shortcut, that is amazing, by the way. I love that. You see this blown out area where it looks like almost like a C4 or some sort of explosive device has blown a hole into a hallway, and you can feel the heat just coming from the hole. You know it's horribly dangerous. You know it will likely burn you going through there, but you see an apparition of your once with you wife.
Oh, that's brutal.
Strolling, and she's skipping, and it's like in her marriage gown, and
oh, that's brutal.
And like and like calling you, like beckoning to you, and skipping down that hallway.
And it certainly beats the infinite exit ramp that I'm going down now. So I guess I'm gonna have to brave that explosive tunnel and see what happens.
That's not so easy.
Didn't see that coming.
So I actually do make it through.
Hey, look, there's cat. The cat's with you now.
That's right. He's a terrifying cat.
I'm always with you. That's not your cat. That's me.
Let's see. What could the zone mutate me to here? Oops. Oh, now I lost it.
That's all right. Whatever happens presents you even bigger challenge. Was kind of
even a bigger challenge was the deal, right?
Yep.
So as I begin to sort of brace my way through, no, I definitely don't want to be stuck forever and ever. My wife seems just out of reach as I continue to move towards her. Her whispering, beckoning. Just out of reach as I continue forward. She seems, even though like I'm moving towards her, she still seems like I just can't quite reach her.
What's the mutation?
What is the mutation? That is a great question. I feel like
I should have a podcast.
What is my mutation? I think at this point he's sort of in a delirious state, and he begins to grow bulkier and large, as if almost like that flesh construct was before,
Nice.
as he starts to lumber his way further down this tunnel.
You're filling up with pages.
Exactly. Filling up with knowledge.
He's
filling
swole
up
with knowledge.
with, with all of these things. And I think that's going to end this scene as we proceed further on.
All right.
I'm died, but it's far from over.
Yeah, let's start it, Doug. And
So-
let's move to the center.
Let's move to the center. So we're going to move to the center. Domingo Moskowitz, the chaplain, has made it to the center. This is the final stretch of the game. We will define the center, the chaplain's final wish, and everyone else will decide what the zone does with that wish using their not-so-easy cards. Only Jim can move into the center. I think you have to click this, Jim.
Oh, sorry.
Nice.
Oh, sorry. I'm the director now.
Yeah.
The center, part 1, the lone survivor, has made it to the legendary center of the zone. First, define the center. Is it staggering beauty, incomprehensible horror, alien strangeness, or something else? I think that the center is in fact staggeringly beautiful, and for the chaplain, it appears as if he's at the gates of heaven. The angels are singing all around him, and we will see if that's how we end up as we meet the center.
Yeah, and I think the one little detail I put in there is that the gates are attached to walls, of course, and you've got the clouds with the light, light rays shining through the clouds. And the one little detail that you pick up, Chaplain, is that the vines and flowers on the walls and of the gates of the walls and the gates of heaven are the exact same flowers that we saw as we came out of the farm.
All right, we're gonna meet the center. Almost time for you to make your wish. So describe the final survivor's encounter with the center you just created. How does the zone make it clear for it's time for him to make his wish? So I think, like we said, it's the gates of heaven, and he stands there before what he hopes and believes is his creator, and it's just made clear that it's time for him to make his wish. The Lord takes his hand, reaches his hand out, and his body's restored. So he now, his hand has grown back. The book falls away, and sort of disintegrates into ash there, the journal book. And he feels this wash of hopefulness come over him, that perhaps this journey was not for nothing, and so we'll make it. And
so before triggering your wish,
the wish, do a short flashback about your obsession. Which again was can you hear the voice of God again?
Can you?
It seems like I might. We'll find out.
What does he say?
And so I think for our flashback, we'll actually go back to when he was running his congregation, and a moment of silent prayer that he shared with a patron. And at that time, he definitely felt that he could feel the voice of God and moving him. And so as we come forward, he feels that brief moment of hope again.
What made him lose the voice of God? Why can't he hear it anymore?
I think that part of that is that his wife died, and so he just couldn't face that sort of thing anymore.
And he voted for Ted Cruz.
What a dick.
All right, I guess we're gonna trigger the wish.
Do it.
Oh gosh.
Part of me wishes that you wake up and a giant flesh construct is just gripping your hand, sucking you in.
To be reunited with. Type faster, Jim.
Sorry. Oh, I didn't realize you.
Yeah, we're watching you type this, man. Of his typos.
Of his vote for Tom Cruise.
Exactly.
Ted Cruz, Tom Cruise.
The Tom Cruise, not Ted.
Ted
Tom.
Cruz. You voted for Ted
Nope,
Cruz.
Tom. Nope, Tom. So the chaplain wishes to be reunited with his wife and forgiven of his sins. And we're going to start the zone's judgment.
It's not so easy.
You are now the other side of the not so easy. Craig Him, you got the most not so easy cards while alive. Assholes. You'll choose
you
the
kept
zone's
trying-
final judgment on the wish. Cody Doug, you influence the final judgment by giving Craig one of your not so easy cards and suggesting a possible way things could go. Start the judgment.
Begin.
Okay. So I use one of these, right?
That's Cody's, not so easy cards.
All right. So you just click it.
Yeah.
Doug,
Doug, did you not get any of these?
No,
I think he goes after me.
Oh,
I think
okay.
So
I got like 3 or 4 of them.
the suggestion that will happen is kind of what I just said. He does not get reunited with his wife. Instead, his wife's hand reaches down and he feels it. And as he feels it, it binds to him in that leathery book style. And he starts getting sucked into his wife and seeing, as the fog clears, the massive god of knowledge that these meager flesh constructs seem to have been kind of working for, gathering bodies and walking into this massive just mound of human just bodies and faces and everything, collecting everyone's knowledge in the world that he can find.
Okay.
That's a negative one. You're go, Doug.
So no, he is not forgiven of his sins. So no, he is not forgiven of his sins, and this is not your God. This is a God, but it is not your God. And it knows all, and it sees all, and it knows what you did on all of those missions with Chet, and does not forgive you for those things. So I got to click Craig's final judgment then, right? Yeah. Right? Do I click that there?
Yep.
I think so.
Yep.
Craig. All right, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yeses, 3 nos. Here's how I think we close out. The chaplain makes it to what he perceives. It's not necessarily what it is, but what he perceives as the walls with the gates to heaven. Or the wildflowers that we saw when we first left the farm. And at first, he's holding hands with his wife. But he looks down and realizes they're not holding hands, that where his hand had ripped off and left just the wrist, she has now connected her wrist to yours. Just she just her hand just slipped into your forearm and just melded in there. So now your wrists are connected. So you're not holding hands, you're becoming together. And just like everything else, when she connects, you can hear her voice now. Just like you can hear the writer's voice, the scientist's voice, and Chet's voice. Chet's saying thank you. Scientist is saying
I finally know it all. I know everything.
this
I
isn't
know
God.
everything.
There is
I
no
know it
God.
all.
The writer's telling you together we'll get closer to knowing it all. And we see the chaplain walking to the gates. We see just kind of looks up. Not sure what's going to happen. The gates are closed. And the gates open. And they're slow. And at any moment, he's waiting for the gates to stop, right? The gates to slow down, and they don't. They open all the way. And he walks through the gates. And just as the camera starts to fade, we see his wife turn to him. And the last thing we hear is her saying, "I'll never forgive you." And the camera fades black.
Nice.
I'll put the debated in chat.
Oh, was it? Oh. That?
Oh.
All right. So, real quick before we do the recap, down in the bottom right of the screen right now, you guys can go play this. I want to talk just very briefly with the rest of the cast about our impressions. We knew nothing about how to play this game at 9:30, which was just shy of 3 hours ago. And then we just played the whole damn game. And we did it within 3 hours of, BSing and learning how to play it, which is pretty cool. But if you can play it free right now, just lower right-hand corner, make sure that you're listening to Tabletop Talk from me at Third Floor Wars, because I interviewed the guy that created this. And we'll be dropping that episode here late summer, early fall. It's a really good interview. Raph was a great guest. All right, I'm actually going to start with you, Cody. Actually, I'm going to start. I take that back. My big takeaway, so I have played like Fiasco and stuff, so I'm familiar with this type of game. And it echoes of that game. And that's a good thing, not a bad thing. That's not a criticism. I was concerned it was going to be too different than other storyteller games that I played, and it wasn't. But unlike other storyteller games, I think my big takeaway here is I felt like it was more troop GMing than like Fiasco. And I love Fiasco, but other storyteller games tends to be, okay, now it's about my character. Okay, now it's about your character. Now it's about this character. And for whatever reason, whether it was this game or the four of us, the way we worked together, I felt like we just took turns GMing each other. And I felt that was really, really cool. I liked that a lot. What was your takeaway, Cody?
Yeah, I felt the same way. And it was amazing because, even when it's not your director turn, you still have like that GM sort of pseudo power to where you can insert your little, stupid idea that you have in your head that, the cats thing. Like the cats thing was a trope throughout the entire thing. And it was great. Like just these little tiny things that you can insert to kind of add weird little quirks to the story, I think work really well.
Well, how about that bullshit throwaway wildflowers that I said right at the very beginning? Think about it. It became a string.
Right.
It became a string through the whole damn thing, which is pretty damn cool.
And the vines.
Yeah, and the vines.
Just so many random things. Like I feel like it takes certain players too, but you build off just random little things that people say. And
so Doug,
it was awesome.
Doug, what did you expect? And then what did you end up playing?
So I expected almost more Betrayal at the House on the Hill. Because it kind of had that's got that dark thing there. You got your fate cards.
Yep.
You told me you mentioned it was, kind of the mutated love child of Fiasco. And so, but I found out that right before we went in, and I've never played Fiasco, but I watched the
Joss
Will
Wheaton.
Wheaton show, the Will Wheaton show,
Will Wheaton,
with where they played Fiasco,
Yep.
and I was like, oh, that looks really, really fun. But I just never had a chance to play that. And I feel like this is a quick. This felt very streamlined.
I agree,
but without being railroaded. Because sometimes when you say streamline, it means, okay, we're not going to get to build what we want to there. And it allowed us to advance the story, tell a really cool, really creepy story. But where then, like Cody said, is but, hey, you're doing this thing. Hey, but something's not right. Or the random, that's not so easy on things that are, well, maybe there were definitely times where it's like, of course that's going to happen there. But it's like, oh, you're trying to, no, that's really not easy. You think it's easy, but it's not easy. So it is a group GMing without it feeling like everyone's jumping down each other's throats there. I'm really hoping that this comes to the tabletop. I'll definitely be following these guys, and it's fun.
Yeah, I agree.
I had a lot of fun with this.
I agree. It is closer to Morningstar's card iteration of Fiasco than the book edition. So if you only know the book edition of Fiasco, go get the box set, the actual cards of it, because that you can tell that's this is closer to that. This has a huge advantage for me because I like creepy ass horror. I just love this more than I do, family, I like, don't get me wrong. I mean, quite frankly, this game wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Morningstar, right? Like if it wasn't for Fiasco, I don't think this game would exist. So I'm not taking anything away from Fiasco. And I'm not saying this is a better game than Fiasco. I'm saying this game fits me better than Fiasco. And if someone said, you want to play the Zone or Fiasco, I would play the Zone. And when this comes to print, I will buy it. Because here's my question for the last person. This is Jim. Jim, is this something we could bring to the campsite?
Are we ready to play this at camping?
Yeah,
for sure. Right? Because it's like that right up. It'll lead right into the big role playing game, and it'll be just as it gets dark, and we'll have like in the pictures on the site, you'll have those little glow lights or little tea lights on the table to kind of set the mood for it. Oh, it'll be great at the campsite.
I'm thinking the same thing.
I love that this was made for a real, because doing RPG one shots is tons of fun because your character isn't precious.
Yes.
Right. And you knew you were going to die at the beginning, right? And so
that.
it's fine to do whatever it is, right?
Because the D&D, you're being the hero there. We go into this knowing you're probably you got a 1 in 4 chance of dying, and even if you don't die, it's gonna suck for you throughout. And that it's a one shot in a deck, which I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
And it's hey guys, I want to play an RPG, but we don't have time to meet up regularly. Okay, boom, let's put this on the table.
Yeah, let's play the Zone.
Let's play the Zone. Let's run through it. We're going to tell a collaborative story. It's going to get as creepy and as weird as that. Because I could see this also be like if you got a silly group. Oh, right. This could be. I mean, we were laughing a lot throughout, but it was kind of oh my God, this is horrible laughter. Yeah. But you could totally take this the full comedy direction. You could take this the horribly even darker than we got.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you can make this dark.
Right. And based on the group you're playing with, right, you can change that tone to such a degree, right?
No question.
It's got it feels like it's a nice framework to hang the story that you want to tell on there.
Yep. No, it's good. Now, the only thought I had, and I want to know if you guys think I'm off base here, and I bet you could do this, and it might even be in the rules because the game doesn't exist print wise, so I don't know if there's rules, right? It felt 1 or 2 cards too long. And do you think that I would feel that way if I played it again? Right. So if I knew better and understood things better? And did you guys
Like
feel
one
that?
or two locations too long?
Yeah, exactly. Like I just
I
felt we could have shaved one, maybe two locations off, and we would have been okay. But that's not like that's a shitty play tester feedback because I played it once and my opinion means nothing. Now, if I feel that after playing it 10 times, then I think there's some validity here. But I had 3 other people that played it with me, so
Oh, we
Oh,
lost, we lost Craig.
am I back?
Oh,
I had an answer. I had
Oh,
an
we
answer.
I'm
lost
still
Craig.
here.
Great knowledge God got him.
Apparently, the
I'm still
zone
here.
Did not,
Can you hear me?
The zone did
Oh,
not
you're
agree
back,
with
yeah.
All right.
you.
You're back.
It's
You're
not
back.
so easy.
All right. So,
So-
Jim, do you feel
I feel like the first that boundary zone was that way on purpose.
yeah.
As that sort of, it's like that. It's a walkthrough, right, for your first game, and I feel like if it was your second game, and if it was everybody's second game, right, and you didn't have to do, we are absolutely going to go through, step by step, each of the cards and how they work, and then go through that way. I feel like that was a point that took some time.
Good point.
I think I like that you can decide to have multiple scenes at a site that way.
I agree.
Because it's like, well, this scene is about, this challenge to your phobia or this challenge to whatever it happens to be, and it's like that scene is over, but we're not ready to leave this place. So I don't think it needs to be shorter by a card. I do think that as you play more frequently and are with an experienced group, I think that boundary training phase pulls out, and I think that quickens everything up just a bit.
Yeah, and to your point, is built in. The pacing is built in, right? Like towards the end, we were like, okay, let's wrap this shit up. So we didn't do 3 scenes
Right.
at the swamp, right? We was like, all right, let's do 1 scene here, 1 scene there. So we were to go through it. You were going to say something, Doug.
Oh, I was gonna say, and by the looks of it, what the locations are it's a variable setup. Is that
right.
we've got, obviously the zone and the boundary are probably standard. I mean, this is our first time playing it, but I'm assuming like the power plant, the village, I'm assuming the campfire is probably a static thing. It gives it,
Yep.
it gives you that,
Yep.
intermission break right there almost of the assess it. And then shit's about to get real.
Yep.
But I think the locations are probably different each time. And as you play it if you play it with a group a couple of times, our pacing sped up. And it did feel like there's certain movies I've seen where it's like it's slow, and then it's that race towards the end. Have you seen the movie As Above, So Below?
No.
Well, it scared the ever living piss out of me, and it's
Hereditary too. Yeah,
Oh,
you're so slow, and then it's like you hit the gas and you're going.
it's like and nonstop. It's the what's going on. Oh, we kind of figure out what's going on. It's going on. Oh my God! Get the heck out of here!
Well, and I got to tell you too, the other thing that I think is huge, and I think it was not necessarily easy for us to recognize, but if we wanted to make this gothic horror, we could have. Like,
Sure.
We decided the type of horror this was. If you go back and look at those cards again, those prompts were super generic.
Yeah.
And we're
In a
the
good
ones
way.
that carried things through. We're the ones that put a theme on top of this, and I loved that. I like that, and it creates something interesting. So when I was interviewing Raph, I don't think I completely comprehended the mutations. But the mutations really allow you to change things but still be within the bounds of the character, and allow you to do drastic, horrific things within the bounds of the character still, and allow you to turn the volume up a little bit to 11, to 12, and so on and so forth. Very, very interesting.
I could see, like there were those set people there that the characters definitely. Obviously, we got to then craft our character a little bit. This could be easily expanded upon and even dressed up in different things without much changing.
Oh, yeah.
Of like instead of these were all very 20th century,
Yep.
20th modern feel. You could, quite feasibly take these and set it in the 1800s,
No question. Super easy.
or medieval. You
Fantasy
could go full
or sci-fi.
fantasy, and
Yep.
mutation honestly, sometimes they felt like, oh, that's not a mutation, that's a curse.
Yep.
And
Right.
literally dress it up however it is and take those, like, you could say, hey, these characters, yes, I'm the doctor, but but I'm a doctor in the Middle Ages there.
Yeah.
Ends up being a very different flavor to it. And you just say, okay, we as a group agree we're setting it in this time period, and it wouldn't change up what's going on there at all.
Well,
But
it's not
as
not like other RPGs, Doug, where
Yeah.
the time periods matters a ton. I mean, it was the characters that mattered here, and it was the little one sentences that we wrote about our characters that dictated everything, which I thought was really, really, really cool. So real quick, any plugs and final thoughts, Cody?
No, final thoughts. It was a great time. Thank you guys for everything. I'll plug Third Floor Wars. Watch the Star Wars RPG session. I don't have the date off the top of my head, but
It's a
definitely.
week from Sunday, right?
I think so. Yeah. It's like the
So
last week
all right,
of
real quick.
June.
What is the situation you guys are in right now? Real brief, just real brief, because I think
Yeah.
you're in a fantastic situation right now in that Star Wars game.
Yeah, I'll precursor that. I got the feline phobia from the Star Wars campaign that we're in because my character is hated by cats. So I kind of pulled that in. But we are currently being ambushed in a jungle planet in the middle of nowhere by bounty hunters that we probably could have killed twice already, but chose to leave them alive. And I think it's kind of biting us in the butt. So we'll see how we escape the planet, or if we do.
That's pretty exciting. How about you, Jim? Any plugs or final thoughts?
Final thoughts. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad you gave me the chance to come out here and do it. I don't think I have any plugs.
After you listen to Third Floor Wars, what's the next best podcast you listen to?
I'm gonna go with 3 Men in a War Game.
I agree with that. 3 Men in a War Game is fantastic. Fantastic. Imagine, though, 3 Men in a War Game without Paul. How fucking great would that be? That's for you, Paul, because you never watch any of my shit, so.
We just did an episode without him the other day while he was on vacation.
Yep. No, see, I couldn't say that about Kevin, because Kevin actually watches my stuff. Doug, final thoughts and plugs?
Oh man, this was so much fun.
It was fun.
I want to do this again. I want to do this again with you sometime. This was just, it was a blast. This is a really, really cool game. This is a game I would pay money to play online. I
would
love that
too.
it's free right now, but I would pay money to, be able to subscribe to this. I want to, Raph's the
Raph, yep.
creator. Raph, tell me how to throw some money at you. I want to throw some money at you because this was awesome. I've got lots of friends I'm going to tell about this game and try to get them to play a few rounds of this online too.
Yeah, Raph told me that in the interview, and of course this could change, but he said he really would like to keep the site, even when he goes to print, he really wants to keep the site up and he wants to keep it free. And obviously have some perks to owning, to buying the physical product and stuff like that.
Put up a Patreon.
Yeah, man, it'll be very interesting to see what he does. This was a ton of fun. It would be something that I think I could introduce to non-role players, which is a big deal. And I'm going to give it the best compliment I can give any role-playing game, which is I was exhausted when I was done, and 3 minutes later, I couldn't effing wait to play again.
Oh my god, I want to play this again.
And to me, that is the ultimate compliment for role-playing. When I'm done, I want to be exhausted. I wanted to have taken everything out of me. Really, I wanted to have pushed me. I wanted to be pushed everybody that I played with. And after I had a chance to catch my breath, I want to go, well, what's going to happen next? And in this case, there isn't a next, right? But for me, it's just like, what's instead of the power plant?
Right. What are the other choices?
What if there's not a prison? So look at this after report. This is kind of cool. I've been kind of half looking at it. You get a very funny survivor interview notes on there, but you can see the cards played, right? Like, look how he loaded up on the prison.
Mm-hmm.
And then the X's where people died on there. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. And I'm going to share the mission report when we're finished. So this is now over 3 hours long. So for those of you that stuck around to the end, I appreciate it. This was a lot of
Can I
fun.
plug some things?
Oh yeah, sorry, Doug. I'm sorry.
No worry. I've actually got things to plug real fast. So I am I was a lot of the Third Floor War people are Malifaux players. Tickets go on sale tomorrow for Warzone Houston. I dropped it in the link there. I'm running 3 days of Malifaux there. Friday is the lighter, fun stuff because not everyone can get there on time. Saturday, Sunday is going to be the Space City GT. So 2 days. We currently have got slots for 40 people. If we manage to fill all of those up, I will hopefully be able to get more. It's going to be awesome. They will hopefully have the hotel information up there soon. I think they were saying it was going to be like $75 a night.
Nice.
So crazy awesome. I've wanted to get something big going in Houston for a while because, we're the 4th largest city in the country, and we don't have our, Chicago's got, Adepticon. There's stuff out on the East Coast. We're centrally located, and we've got an amazing Malifaux meta here. And so that. Also, the other thing I'm running, also more Malifaux, I'm running LVO. Tickets for that are on sale. Oh, sorry. Warzone tickets go on sale tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Central.
So that's the 20th.
Yeah, the 20th. Warzone is going to be September 24th through the 26th in Houston, Texas. I'm also running Malifaux at Las Vegas Open, which is going to be in January. So you got a while on that one.
Awesome.
So if you can't come to Houston, come see me in Las Vegas. I'm running a GT there as well. Friday's the fun things. Saturday, Sunday's the GT. Also, I've been doing stuff with the Umbral Theater. They do streaming on Twitch as well as podcasts. Their Expeditions of the Extra Normal is going to be wrapping up soon. I've been recording a Curse of Strahd campaign with them that we will hopefully put out there live as soon as Marty finishes editing it. And then we've been doing a new Monster of the Week streaming on Twitch. It's called Delightment. So the Umbral Theater on Twitch. I know. I got my list of promotional.
This is longer than the fucking game.
I'm like, come on. I need to promote these things. So yes, awesomeness. Check those things out. Come to the Malifaux tournaments because people are meeting in person again.
My kid plays the flute on Sunday afternoons.
And, hopefully we'll get that USFO tour going again.
All right, guys.
Greg.
Those of you that stuck through the game and through Doug's plugs, I appreciate it.
I'm doing lots of things.
I love it, Doug. I
I'm
appreciate
a busy man.
Guys, thanks a lot for playing. Take care, everybody.